is here. This House is in session.
Government business, sir. Order number 10, resume. In the name of the Honourable Minister in the Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs, to move the second reading of the appropriation bill, and in moving that second reading, sir, in accordance with Standing Order 65-3, the Minister will present budgetary proposals and financial statements for 2025.
Honourable for Christchurch East Central.
Mr. Speaker, the honour is mine today to present the National Budgetary Proposals of Financial Statements 2025. I do so for the first time pursuant to Section 2.1 of the Provisional Collection of Taxes Act, Cap 85, on behalf of the Minister responsible for Finance. By mentioning taxes, that is not to say that this budget will be heavy with new taxes, sir. I am merely grounding it in the legal authority for this annual exercise. Let me first thank the good people of Christchurch East Central, sir, who have afforded me this opportunity to serve their interests in this Parliament for the past 7 years. It is not lost on me, sir. It is not lost on me, sir, the level of maturity they have shown me as demands on me personally have been great given the challenges Barbados has faced during this time. To my constituents, I am forever thankful to you for your understanding and patience. I also thank the staff of the Ministry of Finance, whose very good work in the background, sir, which may be taken for granted by some, has made the difference to the execution of the Barbados Economic Recovery and Transformation Plan. I extend sincere thanks to the Director of Finance, sir, the Most Honourable Ian Carrington, and the Permanent Secretary, Nancy Headley, whom from the afternoon of May 25th, 2018, at 2 p.m. at Government Headquarters when we first met, they both extended every courtesy to me from then until now, and have led the effort tirelessly. I shall point out, sir, that I was not yet sworn in as a minister at that meeting, which on reflection told me that they understood very well, sir, the gravity of the situation facing Barbados at the time. Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Nancy. I also thank the other officers in the ministry, sir. You know who you are, but especially those from the Treasury, Central Bank, Financial Services Commission, Barbados Revenue Authority, Customs and Excise, Government Procurement, Public Investment Unit, Debt Management Unit, Management Accounting Unit, Tax Administration, of course, sir, the Budget Section. Mr. Speaker, things have not always gone smoothly, but I can say without doubt that at every level when there was a demand to be met, the officers have responded, sometimes at all hours of the day and night, weekdays or weekends, which has allowed this country, sir, to function. It is this commitment that I thank you on behalf of the people of Barbados. Mr. Speaker, I thank the Honourable Prime Minister for being persistent and convincing me to serve, but most of all for reposing her confidence in me to manage the fiscal affairs of Barbados at a time when the country, sir, was on its hands and knees. Mr. Speaker, I have witnessed firsthand the Prime Minister execute public policy with a passion and zeal that is indefatigable. All my colleagues in Cabinet, sir, and the Parliamentary Party can swear on any religious book that when Mia says she cares, sir, Mia cares. In a very personal capacity, Mr. Speaker, I publicly thank the Prime Minister for the grace and compassion shown to my family and I last year when it was most needed. I asked, and her response was immediate. And so from the bottom of my heart, sir, I personally thank you, Prime Minister. I thank you, sir, for giving me this opportunity as the second trained economist to present a budget in this chamber. Indeed, sir, the list of those other than prime ministers who have presented budgets in this country is very short. The country knows the benefit of economists managing the fiscal affairs of this country. Finally, sir, I thank my wife, Jennifer, and my son, Kofi, who have both sacrificed precious family time whilst I do what is required of me outside of the home. These 7 years have not been very kind to us as a family, as constituency and ministerial demands have cut out much of the time we would already spend together. I so wish it was different, but having committed to rescuing Barbados, sir, and in fact doing so successfully, has come at a great cost personally. Mr. Speaker, there are no words I can conjure this afternoon to convey my thanks to them for the sacrifice, other than to simply say, sir, I love you, Jennifer. I love you, Kofi. Mr. Speaker, I speak today as a proud member of this administration, with gratitude as a student of the University of Waterford, like you, sir, with the support of my constituents and family, sir, as a person born in humble circumstances, conscious of the duty I owe to my constituents, the country, and in particular, sir, the poor people of this country. Today, I speak to all Barbadians as we pursue a common destiny in the precarious and uncertain times in which we are living, characterized by a rapidly evolving external environment which continues to pose challenges on multiple fronts. This budget, sir, seeks to reflect that reality and to be a decisive step in moving the country further away from our inherited inequalities to a sustainable, resilient, and inclusive society. Mr. Speaker, the government of Barbados has embraced the mission-oriented approach to governance as a cornerstone of the Barbados Economic Recovery and Transformation Program 3.0. This visionary approach, which is supported by the social partnership, enables us to confront our most pressing challenges head-on, delivering tangible improvements in public service, fostering innovation, promoting accountability, and achieving lasting socio-economic impact. These missions serve as guiding principles in national discourse, shaping policy that consider the diverse interests of communities, labor, capital, government, academia, and civil society. This approach fosters collective problem solving, ensuring that solutions align with shared national goals. The nature of these missions enable their continuity beyond any single administration, providing a stable and enduring framework for addressing complex, deep-rooted national challenges. This new model defines the government's role not merely as a regulator, but as a proactive catalyst, actively shaping markets, accelerating transformative change, and driving sustainable, resilient, inclusive growth. By adopting targeted innovation policies that foster resilience, economic opportunity, and social cohesion, we are committing to a future where prosperity is shared, sustainable, and enduring for all Barbadians. Mr. Speaker, the objective of this approach is to put our people and their well-being at the center of national development, so that economic growth and data speak to, and are reflective of a people that are doing well, have access to opportunity, can meet their needs, live with a sense of hope, purpose, and can see that their country is investing in its citizens and its young people. The task of this government is to ensure that we make it in the present while preparing our country for the future. To give citizens a fighting chance by equipping them with the required tools and skills with which they can fight and win, irrespective of the global landscape. These missions represent our bold response to the defining challenges of our times, including Mission 1, climate resilience, proactively addressing our environmental vulnerabilities and ensuring long-term sustainability and effective responses and resilience to climate shocks. Mission 2, social cohesion, strengthening community bonds and national unity amidst shifting social values and norms, emphasizing that our fate and future are shared and require us working together towards a common purpose. Mission 3, food and water security, ensuring reliable and equitable access to these fundamental resources for all. Mission 4, public health and safety, significantly improving both physical and mental health outcomes and enhancing community safety. Mission 5, worker empowerment, equipping our workforce with the tools, skills, and opportunities needed for inclusive and prosperous livelihoods. Mission 6, digital inclusion, bridging digital divides to ensure all Barbadians benefit equally from technological advancements. These missions are also buttressed by 5 guiding principles known as the beacons of Barbados' renewal. The first principle, sir, voices of accountability, encourages every Bajan to speak up and take responsibility when they see something going wrong in this country. The second, guardians of cleanliness, promotes pride in the environment and pushes Barbadians to keep their communities and beaches clean. The third principle is agents of respect. The fourth principle calls for Barbadians to be creators of solutions. And the last principle, sir, these beacons of Barbados' renewal is embracing, as persons from a small island developing state, global citizenship. Mr. Speaker, the Barbadian economy has made tremendous progress since 2018. Successfully navigating several climate shocks, rebounding from a global pandemic, and managing the impact of geopolitical unrest. Indeed, we must never forget or take for granted the fundamental tremendous achievement from our first major effort to recover from a lost decade of unsustainable debt and an economy that was at best, sir, stagnating. Many have taken our successes for granted, demanding even more, without fully appreciating that these achievements have come at a financial cost. That our public servants have had to double down to help the country get past these hurdles, and that in the process some citizens have come under stress, particularly those who have remained committed to helping us turn the ship of state around. Mr. Speaker, we are truly appreciative and guided by the principles that to whom much is given, much is required, and that once we share the burden, sir, we shall share the bounty. When the government embarked on the Barbados Economic Recovery and Transformation Program in 2018, it had much work to undertake. Fiscal consolidation and structural reforms resulted in stronger public finances, more timely tax refunds, and reduced central government arrears. From then until now, sir, the consistent streamlining of government's operations has stimulated overall economic growth. The robust economic performance, sir, in 2024 solidified the country's resilience. Real GDP grew by 4% compared to 2023, as strong gains in tourism, business services, construction, and the retail trade sectors bolstered the overall performance. In fact, sir, based on our year-to-date performance, the Central Bank will report to the country next month 15 consecutive quarters of expansion. Going back, sir, the Barbadian economy stood at 11.3 billion and 9.3 billion in nominal and real terms, respectively, at the end of 2018. Fast forward to the end of 2024, sir, nominal GDP rose to 14.3 billion and real GDP grew to 10.1 billion, representing a 27.3% increase in nominal GDP compared to 2018 and an 8.9% growth in real GDP compared to 2018. This was against all of the challenges to which I referred, sir. The overall gains have permeated most sectors of the economy and have positively contributed to the outturn of the key economic indicators. Tourism continued to be the backbone of the economy, making impressive gains since 2018. By the end of 2024, long-stay arrivals grew by 3.7% compared to 2018, pushing up tourism GDP by 6% over the 6-year period. Several cricket events, including the 2024 ICC Men's T20 World Cup, in addition to the Crop-Over Festival, an expanded airlift capacity brought more visitors to the island in 2024, where the US market contributed the largest increase over 2023. Mr. Speaker, I was still at the university in October 1999 when the Hilton Hotel was demolished. And I remember when it reopened, sir, in 2005. I also remember, sir, when Sandy Lane demolished the original hotel, sir, in 2001 for a 3-year, $450 million upgrade and renovation. But nowhere in the economic record of this country, sir, have we had 6 major hotels being constructed at the same time as we do now. Pendry in 6 Mens with an investment of $300 million, sir, with 74 rooms and 46 residences, 300 jobs during construction, and between 250 and 300 jobs after construction, sir. Indigo with an investment of $100 million, 132 rooms with approximately 250 jobs during construction and 100 full-time jobs afterwards, sir. Hyatt Ziva across the way in Lower Bay Street there, sir, with $186 million investment, with 387 suites and rooms, 28 residences, with approximately 1,200 jobs during construction and 1,500 jobs, sir, after construction. Pierhead, with an investment of $100 million for 150 residences, sir, with 300 jobs during construction and 400 to 500 full-time jobs afterwards, sir. Royalton in Whole Town, with an investment of $300 million, 220 suites and rooms, sir, with an estimated 700 jobs during construction and 500 jobs after construction, sir. Beaches at Hayward St. Peter, part of the Sandals Group, with an investment of $800 million, sir, 532 suites and rooms, 1,700 jobs during construction, sir, and 1,800 jobs after construction, sir. At the same time, Mr. Speaker, a number of hotels have closed during this winter season, 2024, for renovations. I repeat it, a number of hotels have closed during this winter 2024, sir, for renovations. This is another sign, sir, of the business and investor confidence that has improved under this government, sir. Leroy, formerly Infinity on the Beach, closed on June 30th, 2024, and will reopen in April, sir, of 2025, next month. The House, sir, closed on July 2nd, 2024, and will reopen their 39 rooms, sir, in April 2025, next month, sir. Colony Club Hotel, sir, closed on June 3rd, 2024, and will reopen their 96 rooms, sir, in July 2025, sir, just a few months away. Tamarind, sir, closed on July 15th, 2024, and will reopen their 110 rooms, sir, in January 2026. Crystal Cove, sir, closed on February 1st, 2025, and will reopen their 88 rooms in February 2026, sir. Turtle Beach closed on February 1st of this year, and will reopen, sir, their 162 rooms in May of 2026. Now, clearly, sir, with less room capacity available this year, Mr. Speaker, there will likely be some impact on tourism as a result. This is more hospitality development, sir. Sorry, there is more hospitality development on the horizon, sir. But the truth is, I can't call all, sir. Suffice it to say, Mr. Speaker, within 18 months, there's going to be a significant need for well-trained hotel workers if our growth trajectory, sir, is to be sustained. This is what business and investor confidence look like, Mr. Speaker. And not just confidence, sir. It is jobs, 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 sir. Mr. Speaker, in May 2018, this Barbados Civil Party administration inherited a debt burden that was not only amongst the very highest in the world, but was also poised, sir, to destroy the peg exchange rate, which has anchored the social and economic development of this island. Mr. Speaker, it hurts my heart to say to you that devaluation, was definitely on the cards. According to the latest IMF estimates, at the end of 2017, sir, Barbados' debt stood at 158% of gross domestic product, or the third highest in the world at the time. When you include, sir, the nearly $2 billion in unpaid bills, sir, $2 billion in unpaid bills, to thousands of Barbadians, individuals, and businesses who provided goods and services to various government departments, sir, in good faith. That ratio, sir, rose to 178.9%. The long and short of it, Mr. Speaker, is that the last administration owed any and everybody, sir, everything, and simply had no money to pay anybody. I am pleased to report to the country, sir, that in spite of the COVID-19 pandemic, in spite of the ash fall, in spite of Hurricane Elsa, sir, and Hurricane Beryl, sir, this government has paid virtually all of those unpaid bills, sir. Most concerning, however, was the fact that the reserves of the country, sir, had slipped to $412 million, or just about 6 weeks of import cover at the end of June 2018, as opposed to the 12 weeks of import cover that is normally considered safe and has been the national norm for generations, sir. On that trajectory, had there not been the merciful intervention of God, sir, and the electorate of this country, by the end of 2018, reserves were set to drop to 0 weeks due to the debt payment schedule on external commercial debt in the summer of 2018, sir. This extreme imbalance between debt payments, sir, and reserves put at risk the very fixed exchange rate of 2 Barbados dollars to 1 US dollar, sir, and led to the country's credit rating being repeatedly downgraded from investment grade BBB plus in 2008, sir, to CCC plus, sir, in 2017, a grade not considered investable. This situation precipitated a crisis of national and international confidence, sir. Due to this lack of confidence, domestic banks would not lend to the government in 2017. And as a result, the domestic debt portfolio was also in crisis, with the government in 2018 facing payments for treasury bills alone worth more than 50% of GDP. And just for the record, sir, a treasury bill is something that the government normally issues for 3 months, sir, or 6 months at most. And that means that in 2018, sir, there was almost $4 billion that the last government had to keep rolling over, that led us to where we were at that time, sir. Mr. Speaker, contrasting the situation of 2018 with that of 2025, the level of public debt has declined to slightly above 100% of GDP. And international reserves have risen to $3.2 billion, sir, representing a very healthy 31 weeks of imports. As a result of this turnaround, sir, the fixed exchange rate has been safeguarded for future generations, and reserves are set to remain at record levels, bolstering confidence in the economy and driving growth in the years ahead. In other words, Mr. Speaker, the national debt today is lower than it was in 2018. The foreign reserves, which give us cushion against external blows, or in more technical language, sir, exogenous shocks, are higher and at strong levels. Of significance, Mr. Speaker, is the fact that the fear of every Barbadian that things were so precarious in the country, and with the economy, sir, that the dollar was going to be devalued. That fear, sir, is a thing of the past. A lot has been said, sir, in the public domain about how much the country is borrowing. As if, sir, that's the only side of the coin. I have seen people talk about how much, nobody, sir, I should say, sir, I have not seen anyone talk about how much we have actually repaid. So just a few numbers, sir, just a few numbers. When we came to office, between June 2018 and March of 2019, sir, during that period of time, the government borrowed $428 million approximately, sir. And also during that time, sir, the government paid $484 million during that particular period. Paid back to people, sir. In 2019 to 2020, sir, April 1st to March 31st, as I go through the numbers, sir, the government borrowed in that year, sir, $340 million. But the government repaid, sir, $627 million to the people of Barbados, sir. In 2020 to 21, sir, the government borrowed $1.2 billion, sir, rounding up so that the honourable member can keep up. Come in. All of us remember, sir, that 2020, when the airplanes stopped flying, we had to borrow. So in that year, sir, we borrowed $1.2 billion. But we also repaid, sir, in that very year, $955 million, sir. In 2021-22, sir, when we had the ash, when we had the freak storm, we had Hurricane Elsa. And during that summer, sir, you remember I always say, when we had the Delta variant, sir, I always say, I have never seen cash flow out of the Treasury so quickly with the confluence, sir, of those events. But in that year, sir, we borrowed $913 million and we repaid $765 million, sir. In 2022-23, the government has borrowed $1.381 billion, and we repaid, sir, $1.36 billion. In 2023-24, sir, we borrowed $1.37 billion, sir, and we repaid $1.34 billion, sir, almost equal, sir. And what is projected for this financial year, sir? This financial year, the government borrows $1.639 billion, sir, and we will repay $1.835 billion this year, sir. Now, sir, all told, between June 2018, sir, and projected to the end of this month, sir, the government would have borrowed in total, sir, $8.443 billion, sir. But in that same period, sir, the government also repaid $9.362 billion, sir, to the people of Barbados, as any responsible government, sir, will do. Now, sir, these are the facts. And the only reason, sir, that we borrowed so much money, sir, was strictly because of the COVID-19 pandemic, sir. And what was that purpose, sir? We moved from mission critical, sir, and we had to focus on mission survival. And therefore, sir, we had to borrow $1.285 billion, sir, in order to keep Barbados whole, sir, to keep families, sir, together, sir, to keep the businesses of this country, sir, together, so that we can set the foundation, sir, for the recovery that we are seeing today. Mr. Speaker, I want to make it clear, for the avoidance of any doubt, the debt level at the end of February 2025 was 101.1% of GDP, sir. If there was no COVID pandemic, sir, then the current debt level would have been 92.2% today. Now, sir, debt is forecast to continue to fall as a share of GDP for several reasons, sir. One, continuing our fiscal discipline, limiting the amounts of new debt which government needs to take on annually. The terms of the debt which the government do take are on a far lower than agreed by the previous government, sir, largely due, sir, to the confidence and restoration of the country's credit rating. And three, sir, the rate of economic growth has returned, sir, to a healthy level. Now, sir, the last time Barbados' debt level was under 100%, sir, was May 2012. May 2012. So I understand, sir, the psychological concerns that citizens may have, because it really seems like a lifetime ago. But by the good grace of God, sir, steady leadership, and barring any unforeseen circumstances, sir, Barbados will cross the 100% threshold to double digits, sir, by the end of the next fiscal year. There are some commentators who by now should definitely know better, sir, telling the public that the reserves are way too high. Mr. Speaker, the COVID-19 pandemic, the Russia-Ukraine war, the escalating trade war amongst the global superpowers, the threat to take over the Panama Canal, the impact drought is having on ships moving through that canal, sir, with the consequential hike in prices. And all of this as we confront, sir, the current geopolitical environment. This administration believes that the level of reserves that we have, sir, is both prudent and necessary. I know that your constituents and mine, sir, understand that in a time of uncertainty, it is necessary to have a cash cushion, and as Barbados has today. Mr. Speaker, the country still remembers the abysmal level of foreign reserves we inherited, the utterly precarious fiscal situation that Barbados confronted in 2018. The government has been a good steward of the national resources. We have managed and removed this country, sir, from the edge of the cliff. And Mr. Speaker, we are not going back there. Mr. Speaker, I will now address the budgetary proposals. In the face of a hostile international climate, the Barbados economy continues to grow, jobs are being created, our debt is decreasing to more sustainable levels, and the prudent management of the fiscal affairs, the citizens of this country rest comfortable, sir, at night, knowing that what was in the Treasury last night, sir, was there again this morning. I will address four main areas, sir: resilience, growth enhancement, revenue efficiency, and improving the well-being of Bajans. Resilience, sir. Mr. Speaker, on the matter of addressing the climate crisis, I can attest that 7 years ago, on assuming office, ministers of environment and their advisors and those in the environmental and scientific communities gathered globally at various COPs, sir, and conferences focused on climate, coordinated by the United Nations. Having conversations amongst themselves, sir, whilst no meaningful dialogue was taking place with ministers of finance and their advisors on how the world, sir, would finance the mitigation and adaptation issues raised within the environmental space, or how to build resilience against climate shocks. Good old Bajan common sense suggests, sir, that that approach made very little sense if Barbados and the region was to mount an effective fight for the appropriate policy space and concessional financing to properly address climate issues. Under the leadership of the Honourable Prime Minister, sir, we set about to change that. And we developed the Bridgetown Initiative, which has helped to lead a paradigm shift in the course of scaling capital flows and reshaping the financing system to achieve the sustainable development goals, spurring climate action through the reform of the international development and climate finance architecture. The Bridgetown Initiative focuses on three broad areas. One, how to change the rules of the game. Two, how to shock-proof economies. And three, sir, how to dramatically increase financing for SDGs, specifically climate action. Mr. Speaker, I now make the Bridgetown Initiative, version 3, a document of the House. We are pleased to report that through Barbados' advocacy, sir, more of the multilateral development banks, like the World Bank, and commercial creditors have accepted the inclusion of natural disaster clauses, or as they call them, climate resilient debt clauses. These clauses will unlock our debt service for over a 2-year period in the event of disaster, which approximates to approximately 20% of GDP. At the same time, Mr. Speaker, we have also expressed the very strong view that Barbados does not want to actually experience a disaster in order to get debt relief, but rather we prefer to build resilience ahead of the disaster in order to minimize the social and economic dislocation and the attending costs. Therefore, the reform is important, especially given our already tight fiscal space, like in countries like ours and others, which are on the front line of the climate crisis that we did not cause and do not have the domestic resources to fight effectively. Mr. Speaker, Cabinet approved the Barbados 2035 investment plan in June of 2024. It is estimated that between now and 2035, 23.2 billion Barbados dollars, or 11.6 billion US dollars, will be needed to fund the priority projects outlined in the investment plan, of which there is a significant opportunity of Barbados 13.2 billion for investments by the private sector, while the public funding component is estimated at 10 billion Barbados dollars over 10 years. The delivery of the projects is predicated, sir, on the financing being available, particularly low cost, longer tenor debt, and grant financing. And Mr. Speaker, I now make the Barbados 2035 a plan for investment and prosperity, a plan for investment in prosperity and resilience, sir, a document of the House. I will outline a few measures geared towards accelerating achieving climate resilience. Now, in the plan, sir, 12 priorities were identified. But Barbados was hit by Hurricane Beryl, sir, 2 weeks afterwards, causing us to have to reorder the priority list, sir, as the repair of the fishing harbor, the Bridgetown port, the Coast Guard base, and other key infrastructure which has sustained damage now had to take immediate precedence. As a reminder, sir, in 2022, the Minister of Home Affairs, the Honourable Member for Christchurch East, laid the comprehensive disaster management policy in this Parliament. 2 weeks ago, sir, Cabinet approved the disaster risk financing policy. Last Friday, sir, March 7th, the Ministry of Finance started negotiations with the World Bank for a development policy loan with catastrophe deferred drawdown option called a CAP-DDO, sir. The CAP-DDO is a contingent financing line, sir, that provides immediate liquidity following a natural disaster, including natural catastrophes, including natural disasters and public health emergencies caused by a biological event. Funds become immediately available for disbursement after the drawdown trigger, typically the country's declaration of a state of emergency. Now, sir, this is the finest example of what a responsible government looks like. By putting additional prearranged financing in place, as we have done with the Inter-American Development Bank Contingent Credit Facility of US $80 million, in the event that it is required. The World Bank facility, sir, unlocks 0.5% of GDP for Barbados to access, sir, should we need it. Over the course of the next few months, sir, we will also pursue discussions with the Development Bank for Latin America and the Caribbean, sir, to put a similar facility in place. Just for the record, sir, 0.5% of GDP is roughly $70 million that would be made available should we need it, sir. Repurposing the catastrophe fund. Mr. Speaker, the passage of Hurricane Nelson in 2021 demonstrated why building resilience up front is critical. Investment priority 3 in the plan, sir, identifies Barbados as a place with equitable access to resilient housing, specifically a new resilient housing supply and dignified and resilient social housing. Investment priority 6, sir, identifies a healthy and functional rehabilitated ecosystem, specifically resilient coastal infrastructure, blue innovation, and industry. As it stands, the catastrophe fund as currently structured only contemplates expenditures, sir, post-disaster. With Barbados being on the front line of the climate crisis, there's an urgent need to aggressively build greater resilience in the shortest possible time. The government of Barbados needs to be prepared to respond to current and future shocks, regardless of the source, in order to mitigate the economic impact of businesses and livelihoods. During COVID-19, sir, we also expanded the scope of the catastrophe fund to include businesses, but given the reality of the economy at the time, we did not address how they would make their contribution. I will do so today, sir. Currently, only employees and self-employed persons contribute to the catastrophe fund at a rate of 0.1% of their salaries, sir, capped by the maximum insurable earnings ceiling, which is currently $1,219 per week or $5,280 per month. This means, sir, that a person earning $2,000 per month currently makes a contribution to the catastrophe fund of $2 per month. However, sir, a person who earns $10,000 per month only contributes, sir, a maximum of $5.28 per month to the catastrophe fund, due, sir, to the application of the maximum insurable earnings ceiling. In all fairness, sir, equity will suggest that someone earning $10,000 per month should really be contributing $10 as opposed to the $5.28 as currently the case. It is the government's mission, sir, to move from the current posture to a more proactive approach to future-proof the catastrophe fund and accelerate the building of resilience. Mr. Speaker, I propose to expand the scope and repurpose it as a resilience and regeneration fund to do the following, sir. A, provide financial aid to eligible persons and qualifying businesses in need of such aid as a result of a catastrophe. B, mitigate against or remedy the adverse effects of a catastrophe, sir. C, provide financing for resilience building activities. D, provide financing for regeneration building activities. Mr. Speaker, in order to future-proof the Resilience and Regeneration Fund, sir, I propose that with effect from April 1st, 2025, the following be introduced. Utilization of up to 50%, sir, of unclaimed and undistributed assets, including dormant accounts in commercial banks, credit unions, and other deposit-taking institutions for use in the Resilience and Regeneration Fund to build climate resilience and regeneration activities. Before I go on, sir, let me make it abundantly clear. Ever so often, we all see in the newspapers, banks and other financial institutions, sir, publishing the names and the amounts of monies for persons for whom the accounts have been dormant for 10 years already. After 10 years, sir, those monies are deposited into the Central Bank of Barbados and are held there, sir, for approximately 3 years, sir. Before, if there's no claim, sir, those monies then come to the Accountant General, sir. At any point during that period of time, sir, any person is entitled to make a claim on that money, sir, and the monies will be paid back. So I want to make it clear that the government is not going into anybody's account, sir, and taking up any money, sir. That is not what the government is doing. If the honourable member remembers that he has some money in the account, sir, he is liable, like everybody else, to be able to make a claim, sir, and the Accountant General will repay. But what we are doing, sir, is utilizing resources that are just idle to help mobilize the response, sir, to help Barbados build climate resilience. 2, sir, allow the Resilience and Regeneration Fund to accept grants, donations at large, or donations for specific projects, other financial resources, including pledges from planning gains, to accelerate resilience and regeneration efforts. 3, allow the Resilience and Regeneration Fund to borrow or issue securities with the permission of the Minister responsible for Finance to accelerate the building of climate resilience and regeneration activities. 4, sir, increase the contribution rate from 0.1% to 0.25%, sir, for employees and self-employed persons. 5, sir, expand the contributor pool by requiring employers, sir, to match the contributions of each of their employees. 6, sir, for the purpose of contributing to the fund, the cap of the maximal insurable earnings ceiling will no longer apply for employees, self-employed persons, and employers, sir. 7, Increase the income eligibility threshold from $25,000 to $40,000, sir, for individual claims, and $60,000 as joint income for household claims, sir. Increase the claims grant for individuals, sir, and households from $150,000, sir, to $175,000, sir. 9, for the purpose of achieving the resilience target, sir, the provision for the building, for rebuilding, regeneration, or repairs of houses defined as charter houses will be expanded, sir, to include houses constructed from wall and other materials. 10, sir, introduce a threshold for businesses with annual income not exceeding $500,000 that can benefit from the Resilience and Regeneration Fund of up to $50,000 in support in the event of a disaster, subject, sir, to the businesses being fully compliant with their statutory obligations. All told, Mr. Speaker, as part of the Community Disaster Risk Reduction Program, the newly established Rural and Urban Development Commission will be busy, sir, in the first instance, addressing urgent house repairs for the most vulnerable, and as primarily identified by the Department of Emergency Management and the Ministry of People Empowerment and Elder Affairs. The Ministry of Finance, sir, will work with the general insurance industry and the Caribbean Catastrophe Risk Insurance Facility, CRIF, to provide for the provision of micro-insurance, sir, for persons with incomes not exceeding $120,000, and to explore livelihood protection policies. With respect to the livelihood protection policy, sir, persons who have benefited from disaster finance relief from Hurricane Beryl, sir, will be required to participate given their most recent experience. The Fisheries Division, sir, will put a monitoring mechanism in place with the National Insurance to ensure that all in the fishing industry are compliant with their contributions going forward. Mr. Speaker, it happened during the COVID-19 pandemic, it happened during Hurricane Elsa and Hurricane Beryl, sir. We simply cannot limp from crisis to crisis, sir, hoping that the government will come to the rescue. One is always free to self-insure, sir, but we cannot reasonably expect other taxpaying citizens to continue to come to our rescue when we have freely engaged in our enterprise of choice, reap the benefits of it, without taking steps to protect yourselves from possible disaster, and without regard, sir, for those who we expect to give us their support. As it relates to self-employed persons and businesses in general, the government has put mechanisms in place to offer some level of protection for the operation of businesses in the event of a disaster. We have all seen what happened during COVID-19. I repeat, we have all seen what happened with the fishing industry during the passage of Hurricane Beryl, sir. It does not matter what activity you're involved in, whether you're a doctor, a lawyer, barber, hairdresser, sir, nail technician, esthetician, mechanic, fisherman, vendor, musician, artist with or without an E, designer, sir, shopkeeper, shoemaker, bodywork man, sir, architect, draftsman, plumber, tiler, electrician, truck driver, contractor, coconut vendor, sir, landscaper, equipment operator. Please, sir, for your own sake, make yourself right with the National Insurance Scheme, sir. To those listening, even if I didn't call your profession just now, the message still applies to you. Remember, it is your lifeline. Mr. Speaker, as we future-proof the Resilience and Regeneration Fund to build resilience, we will establish a liquidity buffer to always ensure there are resources available to deal with emergencies. The fund will continue to be administered by the National Insurance and Social Security Service, and a report will provided to Parliament for activities in the preceding year during the annual debate of the appropriation bill. And yes, these resources may not be enough for a major disaster, but that is why, sir, we have recourse to debt relief provided by the natural disaster clauses within our debt. Mr. Speaker, I repeat again for the record that Barbados' good name and reputation has been enhanced by the leadership of the Honourable Member for St. Michael North East. The Prime Minister's determination that Barbados and other small island developing states must have the policy and fiscal space to face the challenges of the 21st century is not just prudent, but also morally right if small states are to survive. Her leadership on matters related to climate has sparked innovation across the International Monetary Fund and World Bank, yielding significant elbow room for us thus far. Quite frankly, sir, where there may have been some doubt related to our capacity to deliver under the BERT program, Barbados and Barbadians by extension have received the benefit of the doubt. And in my view, that is due to the leadership of the Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, last week, Monday to be precise, Germany announced that it will loosen its fiscal rule for defence and federal spending and to create a special fund to boost the country's infrastructure. They have determined that in the current environment, any defense spending that exceeds 1% of GDP, gross domestic product, will not be counted towards Germany's debt brake, which limits government borrowing to 0.35% of GDP. This effectively means, sir, that their defense spending will no longer be capped. At the same time, sir, aid budgets are being cut by all major donors as some face the need to increase spending on defense, as we observe in Europe and the United Kingdom. It means financing for building resilience to the climate crisis is becoming more challenging. This further reinforces the need to enhance the Resilience and Regeneration Fund, sir. Our national support to the fund achieves that objective, while not compromising our hard-won gains in managing our public finances prudently and ensuring Barbados' debt is on a forward trajectory as reflected in the decline in the debt to GDP ratio. Mr. Speaker, Germany has traditionally been the picture of fiscal rectitude in Europe. The newly elected Chancellor has now committed to a constitutional amendment to allow the country to spend what is necessary to build up the defense of Germany militarily. Sir, military defense spending is to Germany what the climate crisis is to Barbados, both existential crises. Consistent with our advocacy under the Budgetary initiative and in keeping with what I've asked employees, self-employed persons, and businesses to contribute to future-proof the fund, I now propose that with the effect from fiscal year 2025-2026 to allocate up to 0.25% of the previous calendar year nominal GDP into the Resilience and Regeneration Fund, which is roughly $35 million. Like Germany, Mr. Speaker, we will amend our fiscal rule such that these expenditures will not affect our primary surplus targets, sir. Protecting the vulnerable. Mr. Speaker, protecting our people and building social resilience is a key component of this government's strong policy agenda. And to that end, our action to protect those among us who are most vulnerable has been a key pillar of the Barbados Economic Recovery and Transformation Program. The Ministry of People Empowerment and Elder Affairs is rolling out national policies and strategic action plans with respect to the elderly, and persons with disabilities. Legislatively, the rights of Persons with Disabilities Act and the Child Protection Act have been passed in Parliament with imminent proclamation. Cabinet has approved the policy for drafting of legislation for the protection of the rights of the elderly. Work is well advanced and the draft bill is currently being reviewed by the ministry. Additionally, sir, the new Social Empowerment Agency bill that amalgamates the National Assistance Board, the Welfare Department, the Childcare Board, and the National Disabilities Unit was passed in the House last week, Friday. These changes and innovations represent a further demonstration of this government's commitment to transform the delivery of social services across the country. Ironically, sir, the said amalgamation will usher in further decentralization of social services, as with the use of new management information systems, a more effective, holistic services to the vulnerable can be delivered, moving away from the current disjointed and Victorian approach to social protection. Mr. Speaker, you will recall that during last year's budget, the Honourable Prime Minister announced the introduction of the Special Needs Grant, which will provide the equivalent of 100% of the non-contributory pension to adults and 50% of the non-contributory pension to minors, effective October 1st, 2024. For persons with advanced multiple sclerosis, autism, cerebral palsy, and Down syndrome. This is unprecedented in our country and is an attempt by this government to ensure that people with disabilities can live with dignity and that the burdens carried by their families and caregivers are lessened, and that they do not have to wonder, sir, how they will be taken care of when they are older. I can report to this chamber that between then and March, then being October 1st, sir, and March 3rd of this year, 791 persons with disabilities have benefited to the tune of $2,950,701.39. Of the 791 persons, sir, 5 adults have advanced multiple sclerosis. 508 persons are autistic, sir, of which 392 are minors. Almost 2/3 of the total persons receiving the special needs grant, sir, are autistic. 151 persons have cerebral palsy, of which 53 are minors. And 127 persons have Down syndrome, sir, of which 61 are minors. When the announcement was made last year, sir, there was a small omission, as it was the intention to also automatically expand the special needs grant to minors who are blind, deaf, and mute. However, the regulations only spoke to adults with those listed disabilities. I am therefore happy to announce, sir, that from midnight tonight, parents of minors who are blind, deaf, or mute can now apply for the special needs grant paid retroactively from October 1st, 2024. But now we go further, sir. The NIS and the National Disabilities Unit have reported a number of other disabilities, some quite rare, where persons are unable to completely function and care for themselves, that fit the underlying policy intent to provide greater financial protection for the most vulnerable. I therefore propose that from June 1st, 2025, the special needs grant be extended to cover those disabilities satisfying the amended regulations, and the Minister responsible for Social Security may by order amend the regulations to include those other conditions on the advice of the Chief Medical Officer and the Social Empowerment Agency once established, also paid retroactively from October 1st, 2024. With regards to children, we recognize that there is a critical need, sir, for facilities to better cater to those children who are in need of specialist care. The Child Protection Act makes provision for a secure residential treatment facility with specialists and modern facilities to provide for the care and attention that are needed by these children. In this regard, the Ministry of People Empowerment and Elder Affairs will establish such a facility early in the next financial year, and in this regard, a building has already been identified for this purpose. Mr. Speaker, let me take this opportunity to sincerely thank from the bottom of my heart the Barbados Children's Trust, which is currently funding the construction of a residential facility at Billings, St. James, for children 12 to 18 years old. This new home for 30 children will be a safe space for children to transition into their teens and young adulthood to make a positive contribution to Barbadian society. In a similar vein, sir, let me thank the Trust for the excellent facilities built over the years at the Nightingale Children's Center at Black Rock, St. Michael. Mr. Speaker, there's a clear need to have more persons involved in the fostering of children in this country, especially those children in need of care and protection, with a view of keeping them out of residential care and in the community. The foster care program, which is administered by the Childcare Board, is a form of family-based care for children who cannot stay in their homes. Since they have been harmed or will be at risk if they remain in the care of their families or caregivers, sadly. This system allows children who need care and protection to be placed with a family instead of in residential care. It facilitates the preparation of a child for reintegration into the community with his or her biological parents. The program is a partnership between the Childcare Board, soon to be Social Empowerment Agency, and the approved individual or couple, and is preferred, sir, to institutionalization. It is a community resource which not only enhances childcare services, but makes life more meaningful and productive for both the children and the foster parents. Prospective foster parents are approved after thorough investigation by the Childcare Board prior to a child being placed in their care. The Childcare Board continues to provide support to the child or children, as well as support in the form of training to the foster parents. Unfortunately, sir, the stipend paid to foster parents, $100 per week per child for younger children, mainly at primary school, $110 per week per child for secondary school children, is really no longer adequate, sir. During the more than 2 decades this stipend has been in existence, there has been an increase in the cost of all food items, sir, healthcare, transport services, utilities, education supplies, and the basic needs associated with the provision of care for all children. Despite these economic challenges, foster parents continue to give yeoman service to facilitate the growth and development of children in a family setting. There are currently 16 children in foster care, ranging from 4 years old to one teenager who is 16 years old. These children need to be adequately fed and to be engaged in various activities to achieve their developmental milestones. Mr. Speaker, in view of all of these realities, I now propose that with effect from April 1st, 2025, that the stipends of $100 and $110 per week per child be increased to $200 per week per child, regardless of the age of the child. This measure, sir, will cost an additional $85,760 based on current numbers. I say to the country, sir, the Childcare Board has signaled its intention to increase the number of persons who foster children to a minimum of 30. This is a call, sir, to responsible Barbadians who wish to help care for our children, who unfortunately, sir, have no one else to care for them. Please contact the Childcare Board. Mr. Speaker, I now turn my attention to the broader social sector. Over the last few years, considerable work has been done to transform the social sector to better provide for vulnerable persons. We recognize that Barbados is now an aged society. And so we have to make better provision for elderly persons. At the last census of 2001, more than 25% of the Barbadian population was over 60 years of age. Indeed, Barbados is fast becoming, sir, a super-aged society, with over 50% of the population expected to be 65 years and older by 2050. And therefore, sir, the silver economy will take on more importance based on the demographic profile of the country. These statistics are sobering, and they underscore the need to implement measures that encourage healthy and active aging, and aging in place where seniors can enjoy their golden years. In this regard, it is recognized that older persons prefer to be cared for in their homes and communities, and the home care and community elder care programs of the National Assistance Board have been very successful, sir, in doing so. I'm also aware that it is cheaper, or more cost-effective, I should say, sir, to care for an elderly person in a daycare or residential facility than at a much higher cost either at the geriatric hospital, sir, and a yet even higher cost at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. I am therefore pleased to announce that the Ministry of People Empowerment and Elder Affairs will, in the next financial year, commence a model of the establishment of daycare and residential facilities for the elderly and adult persons with disabilities, as well as additional daycare facilities for children, to get that intergenerational mix that is so needed, sir, for community cohesion. The first facility, sir, will be established at Sterling, St. Philip, followed by Edge Hill, St. Thomas. It is proposed to place such facilities in every parish across the island over the next 5 years. This, sir, is another clear commitment, sir, to the mission economy. Garbage and sustainability contribution, sir. Mr. Speaker, from the time I was a little boy at Wesley Hall, it was drilled into my head that Barbados is one of the 15 most water scarce countries in the world. Since the inception of the sewage contribution, it has been used to fund the following areas as part of the mission critical agenda: inspection, jetting and flushing of the South Coast sewage system as A. B, supply and installation of medium screens at the South Coast treatment plant. C, supply and installation of grit removal chambers at the South Coast sewage plant. D, construction work of a temporary marine outfall on the South Coast. E, supply and installation of screens and a septic handling facility at the Bridgetown sewage treatment plant. F, other projects specifically related to the sewage network, and G, sir, operational expenses related to the running of the sewage plants. Sir, the successful conclusion of the debt for climate swap last year allows the Barbados Water Authority to upgrade the South Coast sewage treatment plant from primary to tertiary treatment. This, along with the upgrade of the Bridgetown sewage plant, sir, allows the BWA, sir, the Barbados Water Authority, to reuse the water treated to potable standards to replenish our aquifers in the future. This means, sir, that the initial limits placed on the garbage and sewage contribution in relation to the type of expenditure are no longer relevant. Now, Mr. Speaker, water rates were last increased in this country in 2009 by the last administration. Since then, sir, virtually everything else has increased except water rates. I therefore propose, sir, that with effect from April 1st, 2025, a change in the use of the sewage component of the garbage and sewage contribution solely from operational costs of the sewage system to include operational and capital costs related to sustaining the distribution of water in Barbados. This adjustment, Mr. Speaker, allows us to defer a badly needed increase in water rates at this time. Instead, it would allow the Barbados Water Authority to embark on an aggressive plan to reduce the level of non-revenue water from as high as 45%, leading to a reduction in production costs and improved quality of service to its customers. Mr. Speaker, I address the residents of St. Lucie and St. Peter in relation to their water issues. Mr. Speaker, just over 3,700 households within the parish of St. Lucie, as well as parts of eastern St. Peter, have been experiencing discolored or brown water issues for years. I am told, sir, almost 15 years. In the past, discolored water existed periodically, but in recent years, many households have experienced it on a continuous basis. The discolored water originates from one, sir, rusty and lime and aged water mains in the distribution system between the pumping station, sir, and customer households. And two, silt in the Allendale well. The Prime Minister has made it clear, sir, that it is unacceptable and has mobilized the Barbados Water Authority to move with dispatch to resolve this long-standing situation, just as was done for the residents of St. Joseph. With respect to the rusty and aged mains, the Barbados Water Authority has embarked on a strategic mains replacement program where the defective mains across the parishes have been targeted for replacement. To date, just over 20 kilometers of mains have been replaced in the following areas, to mention a few: Checker Hall, Maycox, Broomfield. Apologies, sir. The BWA is currently working to replace another 20 kilometers in the following areas: Checker Hall, Maycox, Broomfield, Josie Hill, Hope Bridge Road, Cave Hill, and Centipede Alley. The replacement of these mains was scheduled to take up to 18 months, but the Barbados Water Authority has been instructed to reduce the timeline from 18 months to no more than 12 months by undertaking expanded hours of work. This, coupled with the completion of the installation of a filtration system at the Allendale well in the coming weeks, and the cleaning of the attics or horizontal tunnels, sir, and the basins of wells, will ensure that clear water returns to consumer taps in the shortest possible period. This government has been sensitive to the inconvenience and hardship experienced by the residents. Similarly, the Prime Minister wants to thank the members of Parliament for St. Lucie and St. Peter for their strong representation on this matter. Due to the length of time it took for this problem to be resolved and the inconvenience caused to consumers in the area, I now propose that with effect from April 1st, 2025, the Ministry of Finance will make an ex gratia payment of $32 monthly per affected household to the Barbados Water Authority on behalf of these residential consumers affected by the persistent supply of brown water in St. Lucie and St. Peter. This is equivalent to the minimum monthly charge and will be for up to 12 months initially, or until the time it takes to resolve this long-standing matter. The Barbados Water Authority will validate the meter numbers for the affected households and adjust their billing system accordingly. This measure will cost the Treasury up to approximately $2 million, but is a reflection of the government treating our citizens with fairness and relieving them of unnecessary burdens. Household water resilience. Even as the Barbados Water Authority accelerates its main replacement program, we also have to augment the household water resilience program to minimize the inevitable disruption and inconvenience that will be caused across the country, sir. This program includes the installation of a minimum 600-gallon water storage tank, the associated pump, electrical connection and concrete base, the pipework and fittings. The average estimated cost for installation of this type for a single-story chattel house is approximately $3,000. This will vary depending on the base of the platform and the necessary electrical and plumbing works. I remind the country, Mr. Speaker, that there is currently a 2-year waiver on customs duties and VAT on the storage tanks and water pumps, which expires on March 31st, 2026, which I now propose be extended until March 31st, 2028. Mr. Speaker, I also propose that from April 1st, 2025, to allow the Rural and Urban Development Commission to access funding from the Resilience and Regeneration Fund to implement the Household Water Resilience Program. Beneficiaries of this program will repay over a 3-year period at an interest rate of 1%, which will be levied for repayment through the utility bill issued by the Barbados Water Authority. Whilst priority will be given to homes where household income is less than $60,000 per year, any household in Barbados currently without a water tank will be eligible to apply for this program. No customs duties or VAT will be applicable to the Rural and Development Commission with respect to the implementation of the program. This will allow for the best possible pricing to homeowners. The Barbados Water Authority, sir, will, on implementation by the 5th working day of each month, remit collected funds for the previous month billings back to the Resilience and Regeneration Fund. The government will, however, Mr. Speaker, where appropriate, provide a grant through the Social Empowerment Agency for those households which genuinely, sir, cannot afford to participate on their own. We believe, Mr. Speaker, that this intervention can not only bring much benefit to households generally, but especially during an emergency such as a hurricane or other natural disaster, but the engagement of many small maintenance firms, plumbers, electricians, and maintenance personnel to execute these works will ensure, sir, that we can indeed achieve sustainable, resilient, and inclusive growth. To improve the water supply to households across the country and enhance the resilience and efficiency in the coming years, I now propose that all planning applications approved for residential construction from April 1st, 2025 be mandated to require the installation of a minimum of 600 gallons of potable water storage on the premises. All new business applications will be required to demonstrate access to potable water storage, backup electrical generation capacity, and in the case of hotels, restaurants, and food establishments, a requirement for adequate storage of gas, which will also be required. The details of these requirements will be settled after consultation with the respective private sector agencies. For existing businesses currently without potable water storage, backup, electrical generation, and gas storage, they will have 2 years, sir, to remedy this deficiency. The Barbados Fire Service, over the course of the next 2 years, will be required in the normal course of their duties to inspect all businesses operating in Barbados to verify, sir, that these basic resilient components are in place to ensure business continuity, protecting our climate, coastline, gullies, and parks, sir. Mr. Speaker, the Roof to Reach program is a fundamental anchor of the climate investment plan. Whatever we do onshore, sir, affects everything offshore. And it is this integrated approach that must be appreciated by every citizen for the sustainability of our lifestyle. Mr. Speaker, the state of the island's beaches and the ongoing impact of sargassum seaweed requires consideration for future planning to address the impacts of beach erosion. Should Barbados experience the impact of a Hurricane Beryl or equivalent, it is difficult to account for the impact of storms on beaches and their recovery. The extent of resuspended sediment transported to deeper offshore water will result in considerably longer recovery time than the traditional 8 to 12 weeks. It is therefore imperative that future considerations be given to a west and south coast scenario over the next 10 years, where the rate of beach erosion could increase to a value of from a value of 0.6 meters to 0.8 meters per year. This will be catastrophic for the island's beaches. Equally, Mr. Speaker, on the East Coast, the combined impact of storm wave activity and sargassum impacts will continue to narrow the beaches that will result in the potential threat to the East Coast Road. Further erosion rates are projected to significantly increase in the area from cattle wash to lakes. Presently, erosion rates on the East Coast may vary from half a meter per year, sir, to up to a meter per year. This may increase in the next 10 years to as much as 1.5 meters per year, primarily as a result of sargassum seaweed influx damage. It should be noted that locations such as Morgan Lewis, Walker Savannah, Lakes, Cattle Wash, Bathsheba, Martins Bay, Concept Bay, Skeets Bay, Crane, and Long Beach have all experienced ongoing long-term impacts with little present evidence of natural recovery. Mr. Speaker, the beaches belong to we, and no administration of which I'm a part, having been advised by the Director of the Coastal Zone Management Unit of the severity of the situation, would shirk from its responsibilities. I therefore propose, sir, to establish a Barbados Oceans and Coastal Authority, whose mandate it will be to refocus activity on shoreline stabilization and enhancement at the macro level, with a dedicated section on shoreline stabilization and enhancement. This will have the sole focus of physical beach maintenance and gray-green coastal engineering structural design directed at protecting the west and south coast in the first instance, and the other coastlines, especially the east coast, where we advise that the vulnerability is increasingly of concern. As the Prime Minister would say, sir, somebody has to come to work every day to make it happen, sir. Over the past 7 years, whilst much attention has been focused on restoring macroeconomic stability, the government has been patiently and painstakingly provisioning for more green spaces as we encourage citizens to pay more attention to wellness. Significant works have been done in the botanical gardens, but it is time to put a solid structure in place to further build out and enhance our public spaces. I propose to establish an independent special purpose trust with members of civil society called the Barbados Nature Conservancy Trust. We will vest the following properties in the trust, and it will have responsibility for fundraising, for the capital refurbishment and heavy maintenance, while the National Conservation Commission will continue to assist with the staffing and operations of the same. Those properties to be vested, sir: the National Botanical Gardens in St. Michael, Farley Hill National Park, sir, in St. Peter, Queen's Park in St. Michael, Pool Woods in St. John, King George V Memorial Park in St. Philip, Barclays Park in St. Andrew, Welchmore Hall Gully, sir, in St. Thomas, Jack in the Box Gully, sir, in St. Thomas, Turners Hall Wood, sir, in St. Andrew, and Archer's Bay, sir, in St. Lucie. In 2020, with the onset of the COVID pandemic, we established the Barbados Employment and Sustainable Transformation, also known as the BEST program, for tourism, which was predicated on the commitment to training, digitization, and greening, while synchronizing as much purchasing power with local manufacturing, agriculture, and culture. This concept is as valid today as it was then. It has also been a platform that is being copied across the Caribbean community so as to ensure a higher level of integration and resilience amongst the various economic sectors, while allowing us to become more competitive as nations. Climate resilient vertical farming. Whilst we have seen increasing investment in some aspects of the agricultural sector recently, there are three strategic matters we wish to address today. While often disputed, the effects of the climate crisis have been observed over the last decade with increasing frequency. This has been represented by increasingly severe weather systems. Increases in temperatures and knock-on effects of water availability have led to negative declines in irrigated crop yields of up to 20%. Further, warmer climatic conditions favor higher incidence of crop pests and disease and cause a reduction of pollinators such as bees, sir, which are essential, sir, for crop production. In addition, periods of severe drought, flooding, and extreme winds also pose serious challenges, including significant soil degradation and erosion from heavy rainfall events. These factors have triggered failing farms and stagnating farm profits, as well as impacting the stability of food supplies and food prices. Vertical farming, sir, has emerged as a transformative climate resilient solution to enhance food security, ensure consistency in supply, and drive sustainable growth in the non-sugar sector. This cutting-edge technology leverages controlled environments and innovative technologies to optimize production, reduce water dependency, and maximize land use efficiency. By enabling year-round cultivation, it reduces reliance on imports. Furthermore, this innovative model fosters economic enfranchisement, particularly for young men and women eager to enter the agricultural sector. Both urban and rural communities can benefit from modernization whilst maintaining their role in the national food production system. With this technology, a farmer deploying one vertical farm unit, growing a consistent crop of romaine lettuce throughout the year, could have 18 harvest cycles in that period. To support this effort, the government will immediately facilitate funding by directing the Barbados Agriculture Development and Marketing Corporation to access the Agriculture Development Fund to cover the cost of 20 of these farms in the first instance, to offer to farmers for lease to purchase over a 7-year period, representing approximately $4 million in the coming financial year. Expressions of interest will be requested shortly to determine the successful 20 farmers. Adjustments to agricultural water rates. Mr. Speaker, the average small farmer uses 135 cubic meters of water per month, or as used, in the pre-COVID-19 period. In 2024, the average usage declined to 74 cubic meters. Currently, there are 374 small farmers using BWA water at a rate of $1.80 per cubic meter. Given a return to farming at the COVID-19 levels, the BWA will be expected to earn just over $1 million at a rate of $1.80 per cubic meter. Therefore, a proposed reduction of $1 per cubic meter of water would mean that the government will have to offset for the BWA the difference annually, with this first being the sum of $484,704. Accordingly, an immediate reduction of water rates for registered farmers to $1 per cubic meter will take effect from April 1st, 2025. This measure will alleviate financial pressure on farmers, enabling reinvestment in productivity, whilst lowering the overall cost of certain commodity items, thereby making fresh produce more affordable to the consumer. This price revision on water to the registered farmers is without prejudice to the discussions that must continue for the licensing and for the abstraction of water resources, given the scarcity of our groundwater. We are aware that many of the larger plantations rely on this as a source of water for farming. We will take this into account and any conclusion of discussions with them. The poultry sector in Barbados has been negatively impacted over the past few years due to the occurrence of some severe local and global phenomena. The climate crisis, infrastructure challenges, and global endemic diseases have put a strain on local production and the overall sustainability of the sector. Record global temperatures have increased mortality rates, which expose the vulnerability of farmers to this weather phenomenon, resulting in increased bird mortality rates. The prevalence of bird flu in northern latitudes has impacted the local production, especially in terms of hatching eggs, which has led to the increased costs in the sector. To mitigate the effort of these challenges, the use of climate-smart broiler tunnels will be encouraged. These temperature control units will make the poultry sector more resilient. The government, sir, will again direct the Barbados Agriculture Development and Marketing Corporation to request a further $5 million from the Agriculture Development Fund. The corporation will then support 20 proficient boiler producers in lease-to-own contracts to be repaid, sir, over 7 years. Similarly, expression of interest will be requested shortly, again to determine, sir, the successful farmers. We will also encourage, sir, other small farmers to apply themselves to the ADF so that they may upgrade their existing infrastructure and acquire these new climate-smart tunnel housing units. These above initiatives and programs being proposed by the Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Nutritional Security will enhance the national food security and aid in making fresh vegetables, root crops, and poultry more affordable to Bajans. Greater use of the agro-processing facilities locally, both existing and the new ones planned, will do much to remove the existence of shortages and gluts from the market. Mr. Speaker, I turn to growth enhancement measures. Mr. Speaker, it's clear for those with eyes to see that the Barbados economy has not only rebounded from the last decade, but we are about to engage, sir, the warp drive. However, there are a few things that are entirely within our control that, if left unchecked, could potentially derail further progress. Those three things, sir, are crime, non-communicable diseases, and skills. Crime. Mr. Speaker, the Caribbean region is paying a high price for the Second Amendment rights in the United States. Access to guns presents a significant challenge. The crime situation, therefore, is a source of constant concern for Barbadians and for the government alike. Let me say, though, while overall crime has declined, the scourge of the country has become firearm crimes, and more particularly, the rate of homicides in our small country. This administration is not about apportioning blame for how we got here. This administration is about doing what needs to be done to bring gun crime under control. We must recognize, however, that the phenomenon we are seeing in Barbados is not unique. Every country within the region is experiencing the same thing. This is not in any way to compare countries or to say that it is worse over there, sir, than it is over here. It is to acknowledge that it is vital that we see crime fighting not just being a localized matter, but that in many respects, we have to adopt regional strategies. This work has already begun, and CARICOM has now established, sir, a special project team headed by a high-level representative, Mr. Godfrey Smith, a former respected Attorney General of Belize and judge of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court. His role is to implement targeted interventions based on the specific needs of member states to improve policing and prosecution, reducing delays in criminal justice administration, and improve the efficiency, functionality, and capacity of criminal justice delivery services in a sustainable manner within the Caribbean community. This will include the training of member states personnel to ensure continuing development of criminal justice institutions. The fight against crime is first and foremost a domestic fight, but is also a regional fight, and the two must go hand in hand. To do one without the other will put both at risk of failure. Mr. Speaker, you will no doubt remember the presentation of the Covenant of Hope on the night of Thursday, May 6, 2016, at the Solidarity House, the home of the Barbados Workers' Union, where unity is strength. On that evening, sir, on behalf of the Barbados Labour Party, I pledged to the country that the first call on the public purse would be for the purpose of maintaining law and order, securing citizen security and public safety. Page 26, to be precise, sir. It therefore remains important that we devote extraordinary resources to support the work of the members of the Barbados Police Service, who have performed very well. I take this opportunity, sir, to thank the hard-working men and women of the service, both enlisted, the civilian staff, for their service to our country. The service has adopted many strategies over the years to ensure that the men and women who are able to provide the best possible service to our country. However, manpower continues to be a challenge. The police service has continued its efforts to increase the number of recruits taken into the police training center, each year, and there has been an increase in numbers. Last year's cohort saw 51 recruits being taken in, and the current cohort is made up of 47 recruits. These individuals will join the ranks of the regular constabulary. When matched against the number of officers who leave the force each year through retirement, regrettably death, illness, and sometimes a change in career, it is immediately seen that the number of officers added annually cannot help us to make up the current deficit in numbers of just over 250 officers. We will work aggressively to address the issue of regular recruitment. However, it is evident that we must also go in the direction of more effectively using the special constabulary to augment the work of the police service. The special constables play an integral role in maintaining public safety and supporting police operations. But we know that they can do much more. More for the police service, more for their country, and more for themselves. Accordingly, after consultation with the Commissioner of Police, I propose that from financial year 2025-26, special constables who have served in that capacity for more than 3 years will automatically be transitioned into the police service as full-time officers should they opt to do so. The total complement of special constables is 46, and we expect that the majority of these will seize the opportunity to join the regular constabulary. This will require an amendment to the Police Act so as to allow special constables to become police officers based on their experience gained as special constables. I am assured by the Honourable Member for St. Joseph that the amendment will be before Parliament early in the next financial year. We are also satisfied, sir, that given the important supporting role that special constables play in the service, that we need to increase their ranks. Accordingly, the police service will immediately set about recruiting an additional 60 persons to join the service as special constables. They will perform all of the usual duties, but they will also be assigned to directly supporting maintenance of social order, focusing on unregulated vending, illegal dumping, and road safety management. This will not only ease the burden on the regular police service as far as these policing duties go, but give the opportunity to transition into the service after 3 years of satisfactory service. It will providing another avenue, sir, to boost police numbers. This initiative will require additional equipment as well as vehicles for the increased patrols. We will also undertake in key areas of interest. The procurement of the new equipment and supplies for the additional personnel will begin in short order, and this measure will cost the Treasury, sir, approximately $2 million per year in salaries and another $2 million in vehicle and technical equipment. Money well spent, sir. Money well spent. Mr. Speaker, what I've outlined above is not the totality of government's response, but an indication of how we have already treated these matters. Nor is it to be assumed that the fighting of crime, sir, is only a police resourcing matter. You will recall, Mr. Speaker, that as we have to tackle the issue of criminal justice reform head-on, as we do not believe you cannot fight crime effectively with a broken and outdated criminal justice system. This came after 2 national consultations where we created a role for stakeholders to participate. We have also established an advisory council on citizen security to even broaden the work that we are doing to strengthen our law enforcement and our crime prevention efforts under the desire to fight crime and build peace and order across the country. The Attorney General and other honourable members, I'm sure, will remind you of the many initiatives that have been put in place to allow this to be a whole-of-country approach and not just the efforts of the Barbados police service. Citizens of this country, people of goodwill, service organizations, the business community, the faith and religious community, all of us must stand in the breach to maintain the monopoly of force that allows Barbados to be Barbados, sir. All of us have a stake in this. Our mantra has been, sir, if you see something, you must say something. Having said that, sir, a bad habit has developed, in my view, where some people have taken to recording police interactions with the public for the purpose of creating viral moments on Instagram and Facebook, sir. Now, let me be clear. Thanks to the Honourable Attorney General, the police service, the members of the police service have been wearing body cameras since 2022 in order to improve public accountability to you. Now, citizens have the right to record the police, but I submit in this parliament today, sir, that citizens should not only record the police, they should also record the things happening right now, sir, in their communities when the police is not present, sir. Finally, sir, on this matter, I know that Bajans understand the difference between crime and acts of terror. Bajans understand the difference between crime and acts of terror. The government, the police service, and the people of Barbados stand resolute in this fight. I say to those who benefit directly and indirectly from the pursuit of criminal enterprise, we will engage all stakeholders as we have and as we must. However, action will always be taken to maintain Barbados' stability. So to the grandmothers, sir, the mothers and fathers, the brothers and sisters, the aunts, the uncles, the friends, when you, godparents, sir, when you encourage the storage of guns, ammunition and drugs at your home, sir, in the yard, under the floorboard, you are directly contributing to the destabilization of our country. When you know something and fail to cooperate fully with the police, sir, because you are benefiting financially, you are causing harm to your fellow Barbadians, creating distress and unnecessary fear in this country, damaging Barbados' good name, and contributing to the destabilization of the country. I've said enough, sir, to make the point. If we are to be the voices of accountability in this country, then we must stand up and be counted, sir, when our country needs us most. I want the whole of Barbados to know, sir, that addressing issues related to crime is directly related to our mission of achieving sustainable, resilient, and inclusive growth. Chronic, non-communicable diseases, sir. Mr. Speaker, Barbados, like many Caribbean nations, is experiencing an epidemiological transition with shifting dietary patterns. While undernourishment has declined, obesity is a significant concern, with approximately 66% of adults being overweight or obese. This is unacceptable 2 in 3 Bajans, Mr. Speaker. NCDs, as they're called for short, sir, particularly cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, and some cancers, account for over 80% of all deaths. Food availability data reveal overconsumption, sir, of protein, fat, and sugar, while consumption of fruits, vegetables remain inadequate, with over 90% of the population failing to meet minimum recommended levels. Simply put, sir, Barbados is facing a chronic non-communicable disease epidemic. Sir, we have established a national food and nutritional policy, a critical framework for addressing the growing burden of NCDs. The policy also supports baby-friendly hospital certification at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, the National School Nutrition Policy, and the taxation over the years on sugar-sweetened beverages, alcohol, and tobacco, to reduce, the aim of which was to reduce consumption of and the use of unhealthy products. It should be noted that the Prime Minister last year co-chaired a report entitled Healthy Taxes, a Compelling Policy for the Crises of Today, with Michael Bloomberg and the former Treasury Secretary of the United States, Larry Summers. This is a clear recognition of the deterrent nature of taxes, as well as the importance of the state raising revenue to help offset the increased health expenditures because of unhealthy behavior of citizens. It is recognized by this government that in some instances, we need strong public education to change behavior as well, and not taxes alone. As Mr. Speaker, I make the report a document of the House. This comprehensive approach acknowledges that effective nutrition improvement requires addressing both individual dietary choices and broader social, economic, commercial, and environmental determinants of health, which influence food access and consumption patterns. It takes time to change habit and change business processes, but we are determined to support our population in improving their individual circumstances, as well as the national health status, and changing our sedentary lifestyles and eating habits. Our citizens, who are already well informed about these conditions, must be prepared to take greater responsibility for their own health. For those who are not, we must increase the level of public education and show them how, from recipes to exercises, how they can step up to the plate to live longer and live better. To increase and improve public health education, particularly in reference to chronic non-communicable diseases, sir, the government will spend $1 million per year in public education for the next 2 years of intense activities in the first instance. Earlier, in the previous budget, we announced an initiative for trans fat regulations, which will come into force in December 2025. We appeal to hotels, restaurants, and cook shops, sir, to remove salt shakers from tables and counters so that people do not immediately go for them, as many do, before even tasting the food, sir. Mr. Speaker, we know that this battle will not be an easy one, especially when it comes to salt, sir. It will take some time. We all, sir, have a distinct love for salted pigtails and salted cod. Not you, sir, but we. And as we will say, sir, as my grandmother said, good old Bajan salt fish. We need to encourage our people, sir, to recognize that all things in moderation can be sustained. Now, the government does not propose to place taxes on basic food items in the middle of a cost of living challenge, but we remind households that how we prepare the food will be critical. Some of these dishes can be prepared with reduced salt content. It might mean boiling out the salt, sir, a little more, It might mean a little more gas, sir, but when it comes to the pigtails, you can substitute with the unsalted pigtails. Don't shoot the messenger. Sir, we will, however, with effect from June 1st, 2025, place an excise tax on certain snacks with high salt content, such as Pringles. Excise tax of 20%. Yeah, of 20%. Excise tax of 20% on Pringles, Lay's, sir, salted nuts, corn curls, sir, hot balls, sir, cheesies, salted popcorn, sir, tortilla chips, salted pretzels, and salted crackers, sir. No, sir? In 2 years, we will be revisiting both the high sugar and high salt content items because this government is committed, sir, committed to stem the tide as it relates to the incidence of chronic non-communicable diseases. I ask Bajans, let us work together to change our habits. And as I said, live longer and live better. Too many people in our country, sir, have had their limbs amputated. Many people suffer, sir, with various ailments related to their feet. And many of them, sir, are directly caused by chronic non-communicable diseases, sir. Towards addressing this matter, the government will introduce a podiatry project. Initially designed for persons in our community, sir, over 70 years old, The government is proposing that we extend a practical project across the country to bring better foot care to our senior citizens. Those persons, sir, with diabetes will normally go to podiatrists. Will go to podiatrists. For those without diabetes, may go to a person doing normal pedicures. The aim of this program is to provide at government's expense a chance, sir, to improve foot care by offering up to 3 such visits per year. In this way, we teach our citizens the critical importance of foot care, while at the same time creating opportunities for practitioners of these small businesses across the country. I want to particularly encourage our men, sir, to also avail themselves of these services and opportunities, because it is not only women, sir, who can get a pedicure. Men too also suffer from these problems, and we want men to participate fully, sir. Filling the skills gap. Mr. Speaker, Barbados is currently experiencing a skills shortage across a range of disciplines, which must be filled urgently, otherwise the sustained, inclusive economic growth we are charting under BERT 3.0 may not materialize. It is instructive in this academic year, sir, 2024-25, to give us context, to look at the enrollment data by age in the public schools, from the Ministry of Education Transformation. And I will take just a little time here to go through this so that people can visualize. Right now, sir, in this academic year, in fifth form, which means children turning 16, sir, there are 3,679 children enrolled in fifth form. In fourth form, sir, children turning 15, 3,107 pupils. In third form, sir, children turning 14, there are 3,042 students, sir. In second form, children turning 13 years, 3,075 students, sir. In first form, currently, children turning 12 this year, 2,655 pupils, sir. In class 4, sir, those who will sit 11 plus in a few weeks, 2,409 students, sir. In class 3, sir, children turning 10 this year, 2,362 students, sir. In class 2, children turning 9 years old, sir, 2,224 students, sir. In class 1, sir, children turning 8 years old, 2,091 students, sir. In infants A, sir, children turning 7, 2,067 students enrolled, sir. And in infants B, sir, children turning 6 this year, there are only 2,060 students enrolled. In 10 years, sir, as you can see, the difference between the number of children turning 16 years old, 3,679, versus those turning 6 years old, sir, 2,060, sir, has seen a nearly 50% drop in students in school. It is 44% to be precise, but for all intents and purposes, sir, it is half. When we talk about Barbados having a shortage of skills, sir, it is not just in relation to the quality, but it literally comes down, sir, to the number of people that are actually available to meet the demand for the supply of goods and services for the future. Mr. Speaker, this threatens our economic competitiveness, social stability, sir, as well as our way of life. The reality, sir, is that this country must urgently modernize its workforce in order to secure the future. The government, sir, in that vein, will embark on a national program focused on equipping Barbadians with future-ready skills today, particularly in AI, process automation, data analytics, and emerging digital technologies. These are the jobs of the now, sir. This will require dynamic cross-sector programming in both public and the private sector. However, sir, Mr. Speaker, domestic upskilling alone will not be enough to meet Barbados' urgent labor demands. The time has come for us to carefully design and implement a proactive talent attraction and retention strategy. Mr. Speaker, let me be absolutely clear. This government's policy is not, nor ever will be, in the business of selling passports. However, programs like fast-track work and residency programs for highly skilled professionals in science and technology, global talent visas and incentives to position Barbados as a hub for remote work and hybrid knowledge workers, and of course, diaspora engagement and return programs to reconnect with skilled Barbadians abroad and encourage their return are all ideas we will consider. We already have credibility, sir, and experience in this space with the very successful Digital Welcome Stamp program. Mr. Speaker, digital transformation. What we need now is a whole of country approach. Government alongside private sector and labor to fully position our country as a resilient, high-performing economy in the digital age. The time to act is now. Mr. Speaker, the government is embarking on a transformational plan to upgrade the nation's digital infrastructure, Starting in the upcoming financial year, this comprehensive strategy focuses on 3 pivotal initiatives. 1, deployment of 5G communications technology in partnership with the telecoms private sector. We believe this enhanced connectivity will drive innovation, support emerging technologies, and improve the quality of digital services for citizens and businesses alike. 2, establish a Tier 3 data center with local and global partners. The process of conversation with leading data center specialists to design, construct, and operate the facility incorporating advanced technologies and sustainable practices has already started. This will serve as a critical hub for data storage, processing, global digital services, and disaster recovery, supporting both public and private sector digital initiatives. 3, creation of a cybersecurity operations center, establish a central facility dedicated to monitoring, detecting, and responding to cyber threats, thereby strengthening the national cybersecurity posture. The Security Operations Center will enhance Barbados' ability to protect its digital infrastructure, safeguard data privacy, and respond effectively to cyber incidents. Mr. Speaker, this isn't an easy thing to say, but the reality is that we live in a world where bad actors want to take advantage of weakness. We are always vulnerable to security breaches. Every country and its citizens suffer hacks and breaches. This is an unfortunate part of the modern world in which we live. As a result, sir, we need to significantly enhance the digital IQ of the government and of all of our people through the development and enforcement of robust policies and regulations that mandate cybersecurity best practices across the sectors, include enhanced data protection policies, cybercrime legislation, collaboration with global intelligence agencies, all while holding much higher standards for critical infrastructure protection. Mr. Speaker, we will work together to create a resilient society capable of mitigating digital threats and building a flourishing digital economy. At this time, sir, I wish to remind the country to indicate that we will extend, sir, the digital credit introduced last year for all businesses to prioritize the digital upgrade of their systems, and that extension is to the end of the next financial year, sir, May 31st, 2026. March 31st, sir, 2026. Industrial Growth 4.0, sir. Mr. Speaker, Barbados has embarked on a bold Industry 4.0 strategic plan to transform from an import-dependent manufacturing landscape to a dynamic export-oriented economy. This transformation focuses on producing world-class, high-value products and services for global markets, with a particular emphasis on life sciences and digital services. Central to this strategy is the integration of advanced scientific and technological research, necessitating the infusion of new capital, skills, knowledge, and technologies. We will establish as a global hub of hubs from which world-class businesses in sustainable energy, biotech, design, smart manufacturing can operate and export from. A pivotal component of this initiative is the development of the state-of-the-art industrial spaces, exemplified, sir, by the spaceship at Newton, which, in addition to being home of our national digitization program, it will house leading life science companies. Mr. Speaker, the Ministry of Industry, Innovation, Science and Technology has set big, bold targets for rapid and transformational growth of this sector. The embracing of standards of excellence across all sectors of the economy and society will be critical. Education, sir, as a catalyst for transformation. As a result, sir, the future of education in Barbados must urgently adapt to the rapidly evolving global labor market, where technological advancements, automation, and increasing demand for specialist skills are reshaping industries. The government, through the Ministry of Education Transformation and the Ministry of Training and Tertiary Education, will do the heavy lifting to prepare our children, our young adults, for building their future. The process of educational transformation is well underway, and what remains simply now is for the country to be advised on the appropriate mechanism for transfer from primary to secondary. We've already completed much of the diagnostics and analysis necessary to inform the plans to reform the system and to improve the infrastructure. Indeed, training has started across the primary and secondary levels. The establishment of the Ministry of Training and Tertiary Education is a deliberate and strategic intervention to make the entire country of Barbados, sir, a training campus. It is imperative that we give focus on giving as many of our citizens the skills necessary for them to earn a good living while capable of being readily retrainable at any stage of their lives in this rapidly evolving world. This is more important to our people than winning a lotto ticket, sir. We are simply trying to ensure that education and training will be as important and relevant to empowering this generation and future generations of children as it has been in our past. Recognizing that the necessary skills, hard and soft, will change over the coming decades. There are some exciting initiatives such as the creation of the Barbados Climate School for 4th to 6th formers and its beach campus, Oceana, which is already near completion on Bay Street. This initiative is being undertaken in partnership with local and global philanthropy and civil society. You will hear about it in the upcoming weeks. It is also intended to move the grade and CD secondary school from in the back, sir, of the garrison paddocks to the front road, sir, on Colma Rock. We will move the school, sir, to the previous Ursuline Convent site once the renovations of that site, sir, is completed. The plans are already being reviewed by the ministry. Energy, sir. The government is committed to 100% net zero by 2035. This requires an aggressive expansion in renewable energy initiatives to achieve this target. This transition includes a mixture of renewable energy approaches with the current thrust weighted towards solar photovoltaic projects. This requires significant investment in these projects and equally investment opportunities for both public and private sector. Government believes that these opportunities should enjoy wide participation from Barbadians. In this regard, the government has arranged with financial institutions to provide a path for public participation in renewable energy opportunities via appropriately developed instruments including both equity ownership and debt participation. Given the expected returns from these renewable energy investments, this will provide an avenue for Barbadians to earn a return on their savings significantly above the current rate of savings. These investment opportunities will be carefully reviewed and will be approved by the Financial Services Commission before being offered, sir, to the public. We are confident that with these instruments, the public can not only earn a better return on their hard-earned savings, but will participate in an initiative, sir, that will add to our climate adaptation and resilience programs. Mr. Speaker, the government has been pushing ahead with the implementation of the 2019 Barbados Energy Policy. In previous budget presentations, we have provided updates on how a national grid designed for fossil fuel generation are now being adapted to support the connection of renewable sources of energy generation has reached its maximum capacity. In the interim, hundreds of small businesses in this country who invested in solar PV projects are still awaiting connections to the grid. This country needs battery storage, and we are well advanced and about to launch Barbados' first battery energy service. To launch Barbados' first battery energy service procurement project. In the meantime, small businesses that went to financial institutions are in many cases, sir, facing the cost of servicing those loans. Mr. Speaker, the Energy Smart Fund, which has now been equipped to offer a loan refinancing facility, under Component 1 of the Sustainable Energy Investment Program, Smart Fund 2, in the amount of $15,187,500 has been provided for the financial year 2025-26. I now propose that with effect from April 1st, that this new refinancing facility administered by the Enterprise Growth Fund will be available to small and medium enterprises to refinance their stalled renewable energy projects at an interest rate, sir, of 3.75%. Under this facility, sir, small businesses can refinance their projects under the Smart Energy Fund, benefiting from a one-year moratorium on repayment of principal until such time as their PV projects are connected to the grid. By launching this new refinancing facility, this government is investing in the sustainability of our small business sector and giving business owners peace of mind during the period when their PV systems are not connected and therefore unable to generate revenue. Additionally, repayment of loans can release lenders' available capital, allowing them to allocate funds elsewhere. I expect, Mr. Speaker, sir, that this loan refinancing facility will help the local small business community prevent project failures and maintain investor confidence. The government, sir, has previously committed to keeping a certain percentage of the renewable energy potential for the benefit of state-owned enterprises. This will allow us to ease some of the burden on the consolidated fund with respect to the public transfers for these state-owned enterprises. We have already had expressive interest from the private sector for partnering with some of these SOEs. This year, we will initiate joint ventures with the private sector and also extend participation, sir, to private individuals whose return on savings in the banking sector, as we have said, remains paltry at best. Trade facilitation, sir. Mr. Speaker, under previous Barbados Labour Party administration, the Customs and Excise Department was the first department in the region, sir, to implement Asikuda Plus in 2005, which at that time, sir, was the latest in customs procedure clearance. 2005, sir. It took this Barbados Labour Party administration return to office again to implement the current Asikuda World System in September of 2019. Regrettably, by then, sir, Barbados was the last country in the region to upgrade the system, as the previous administration had failed to do so, sir, for the previous 5 years. I say to the country, sir, Barbados cannot, sir, Barbados, let me repeat, Barbados cannot afford, sir, to be last in anything, sir, in the 21st century. Mr. Speaker, I'm happy to announce that last Thursday, Cabinet approved my recommendation to upgrade to Asikuda 5, sir, the 5th generation of the system designed for the automation of customs procedures and processes. We will shortly sign the implementation agreement with UNCTAD with the aim, sir, of launching the new version of Asikuda, ASI 5 as it is known, sir, by January 1st, 2026, sir. It is important to note, Mr. Speaker, that due to our successful implementation of Asikuda World in September 2009, Barbados has been selected as one of 5 countries in the world to conduct beta testing before adaptation, sir, to the national environment. I want to thank the Controller of Customs, his management and staff, along with the members of the private sector for putting Barbados in a position, sir, to benefit from the early rollout of this new system and the new features, sir, globally. Some of the new features in ASI 5 include greater automation and processing of post office cargo, easier processing of disaster relief consignments, and end-to-end facility to monitor and process passengers. Users of the new ASI system, sir, will be able to access customs securely, sir, from their mobile device of their choice, online processing of payments thereby reducing transit time for them and processing and reconciliation time for the department. The net result will be faster access to goods and services imported and better facilitation, sir, for exporters. In this way, we are reforming our systems within in order to ensure in addition, sir, sorry, my apologies. In addition, the Customs and Excise Department, sir, will work with the licensing authority, the General Insurance Association, financial institutions, as well as automotive dealers, to totally revamp, sir, the process through which vehicles are registered and sold. The ultimate mission, sir, is for you, sir, to walk into a dealership, test drive a vehicle, sir, and if it is to your liking, sir, that you should be able to drive home in that said vehicle, sir, in less than 2 hours with registration, insurance, sir, and financing in place. This is the new standard to which we must meet, sir, in order to transform the way business is done in this country. Mr. Speaker, the Barbados Manufacturers Association has raised a matter of competitiveness that the Ministry of Finance believes is imminently solvable and could lead to the lowering of production costs locally for manufacturers. We will work over the course of the next few months to create a framework that would allow manufacturers to effectively pool procurement of materials and to share, sir, the concession benefits in Asikuda. We believe in this global environment that this initiative, sir, will add tremendously to lowering the cost of production as well as to the price that consumers will ultimately pay for goods produced. Mr. Speaker, legislation to provide the deposit insurance was introduced in 2006, with the Barbados Deposit Insurance Corporation commencing operations on June 8th, 2007. The BDIC is an extension of the financial sector safety net, contributing to the maintenance of public confidence and in deposit-taking institutions within the financial system, and currently provides insurance coverage of up to Barbados $25,000 for depositors of commercial banks, as well as deposit-taking trust and finance companies. It is the government's intention to broaden the coverage to now include, sir, credit unions. The business case has been developed with technical support from the United States Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation last year. That support has been suspended as we still are within the usual 90-day period, sir, when all foreign aid is usually reassessed when there's a change in administrations. Nevertheless, work will continue with robust stress testing of the business case by the Central Bank in conjunction with the Financial Services Commission, while the other work on the legislation continues apace. It is my desire, sir, to have this matter completed by the end of this year. The movement has my assurance, sir, of the government's financial commitment to get the process started as soon, sir, as the legislation has been passed. As you are also aware, sir, more often than not, there is conflict between landlords, agents, and tenants, disputing the repayment of rental deposits, often leaving the tenant without much protection, or having to seek legal remedy, which could take a long time. To remedy this situation, sir, I propose to broaden the current MAT scope of BDIC to include a deposit protection services as part of its mandate, sir. The purpose of the service is to protect tenants from losing their security deposit unfairly by providing a neutral platform to resolve disputes with landlords regarding deductions at the end of any tenancy agreement. Credit union, sir. Currently, Section 34A(1)(b) of the Cooperative Society Act, Cap 378A, restricts the credit union movement ability to invest in productive sectors. Given the increasing role of financial cooperatives in economic development, we propose an amendment to allow greater flexibility in investments that contribute to national priorities such as housing, renewable energy, and tourism development. I therefore propose to amend the legislation to allow credit unions to invest up to an aggregate of 25% of their assets in productive sectors, including real estate projects, renewable energy projects, tourism-related projects, and other projects approved by the Ministry of Finance. In keeping with the ethos of the credit union movement, Mr. Speaker, the Ministry of Finance will authorize through the Financial Services Commission, with effect from April 1st, 2025, the use of participation loans by multiple credit unions to a single lender to reduce exposure to individual institutions. I believe, sir, that this expanded investment facility will strengthen the credit union's role and will help with achieving, sir, sustainable, resilient, inclusive growth. It is also equally evident that Barbadians have money, sir. Every few months, people are caught in some scam, sir. Blessing circle. Fake crypto accounts masquerading as investment opportunities, just to name a few. These get-rich-quick schemes always seem to capture people's imagination or desire for a quick and easy dollar. Sir, the only person who wins is the scammer. Mr. Speaker, the following are the average net profit margins by selected industries on an annualized basis in the United States as of March 2025. Bear with me, sir. Banks, 27.2% over the course of the year. Drug manufacturers, sir, 12.3% over the course of the year, sir. Grocery stores, 2%. Luxury goods, sir, 2.8%. Residential construction, 10.2%, sir. Restaurants, 4.2%. And trucking, sir, 3.7%. Now, sir, I encourage all of our citizens, sir, to invest in our government paper, which is still offering a good 4.5% over 5 years. But I've deliberately chosen these profit margins to show that across a range, sir, of legitimate business sectors, it is not possible, sir, to achieve the extreme profit margins that are promised by the scammers, sir. The next time someone swears to you that if you give them $100 today, Monday, sir, and that they will give you $500, sir, on Friday, sir, trust me, it is a scam. And that person, sir, is part of the scam, even if they don't know that they are part of the scam, sir. If it was that easy, sir, I would put up $100 million today, sir, and get the $500 million Friday, sir. I would not have to hurt my head, the Prime Minister, about financing government's fiscal program, sir, trying to find fiscal space. I urge Bajans, sir, I urge Bajans. If it looks like a duck and it sounds like a duck, it is a scam, sir. Okay? No, I know. Oh boy. Mr. Speaker, establishing a framework for real estate investment trust. Mr. Speaker, one does not have to look too far to recognize that Barbados is currently going through a construction boom. From the average man or woman, sir, purchasing their first home or renovating for Airbnb to multi-million-dollar projects, all are contributing, sir, to driving economic growth in the country. Government itself has a number of projects that will require financing, as well as the private sector. And the ability to mobilize domestic financial resources is key to driving growth through a series of pooled investment vehicles that gives each of us a fair chance to get a decent rate of return. From the building out of new industrial estates, sir, to the refurbishment and new government headquarters at Bay Street, sir, to laboratory infrastructure, there is something for everyone, sir. Not to mention the private sector ventures that will also require financing. I therefore propose, sir, to enact legislation to create a framework for real estate investment trust in Barbados to facilitate pooled investment, sir, across a number of real estate projects in the country. The unit trust legislation, sir, that the Prime Minister announced 2 years ago, sir, will shortly before this chamber, which is another avenue for investment that we will bring for Barbadians. A modern payment system. Mr. Speaker, sir, a well-functioning national payment system that enables secure, cost-effective and rapid money transfers is the backbone of the future economy. As Barbados' economy continues to expand, reaching a nominal GDP of 14.3 billion at the end of 2024, the modernization of our payments ecosystem has become imperative. Recognizing this need, the Central Bank of Barbados, in collaboration with the World Bank, launched the Barbados Payment System Modernization Project in October 2024. This initiative aims to provide all Barbadians, whether individuals, businesses, or financial institutions, with access to real-time, secure, and interoperable settlement infrastructure integrated within the Central Bank's platform. Mr. Speaker, sir, this transformative project will significantly enhance business facilitation, particularly for small and micro enterprises, by ensuring the instantaneous receipt of payments, thereby reducing cash flow constraints. Likewise, private sector individuals will benefit from greater flexibility and innovation and innovative digital payment solutions, including, sir, QR code-based payments and proxy-based transfers, making transactions more convenient and efficient. For example, sir, a food vendor at Oystins will no longer have to hope, sir, that the ATM across the road by the gas station at the bottom of the hill, sir, does not run out of cash, because all the visitors and locals alike will be able to simply scan, sir, a QR code, and the payment will be instantly deposited to the vendor's account. Similarly, sir, a parent sending money to a child studying abroad will no longer need to worry about long processing times or high transfer fees. Funds will be transferred instantly and securely using the new system, sir. Mr. Speaker, for a Barbadian traveling abroad who loses their debit card, the ability of family or friends to send emergency funds instantly via a mobile wallet could be a lifesaver, sir. Likewise, a taxi or Zara driver collecting fares or other cash businesses which start using digital payments will no longer need to carry or have large sums of cash, thereby reducing, sir, the risk of being robbed while ensuring they receive payments immediately after every trip, sir, or transaction. Similarly, gas stations and shopkeepers can feel safer, sir, that their hard work and investments will be more secure. Small businesses across the spectrum will no longer have to worry about complicated cash management systems and the necessary reconciliation that takes too much time. Mr. Speaker, a key pillar of the Barbados Payment System Modernization Project is financial literacy. The successful adoption of digital payments hinges on the ability of all Barbadians, especially the elderly, less technologically adept segments of our population, to confidently navigate and utilize digital payment tools. To this end, the Central Bank is expanding its financial education initiatives to ensure that users can securely manage real-time transactions while understanding the benefits and risk associated with digital finance. Imagine a pensioner, sir, who previously had to stand in long lines at the bank or the post office every month, sir, to collect their pension check. With digital payments, sir, their funds can be deposited directly into their account and accessed instantaneously with the help of their grandchildren, sir, or a loved one, from the phone, the ATM, making the processor even more convenient and safer. By March 2026, Barbados will have transitioned to a more inclusive, efficient, and competitive digital payments ecosystem. This modernized infrastructure will not only streamline domestic financial transactions, but also enhance cross-border payment capabilities, supporting Barbados's broader vision of economic transformation through digital innovation. This initiative will position Barbados as a regional leader in digital financial services, fostering greater economic resilience, efficiency, and long-term growth. De-risking mortgages, sir, for low-income earners. Mr. Speaker, government is committed to the fulfillment of home ownership in this country. However, two issues continue to impact this aspiration: the supply of affordable homes, and two, the access to mortgage finance for low and moderate income buyers. With respect to the supply of affordable houses, the government has had setbacks in its early initiatives to increase the supply of these homes for low-income families. However, this government remains committed to the process. Between HOPE and the private sector, we believe that the target of approximately 2,000 new affordable homes each year over the next 5 years is entirely achievable. Moving from an artisanal approach to an industrial approach means creating a new ecosystem and training persons to upskill. This has taken more time than we would have liked, but we are seeing progress, Mr. Speaker. There are a few challenges that we will confront in this budget. Mortgage financing for low-income earners, particularly those with irregular earning patterns, continues to be a challenge. We are told that home buyers earning more than $2,000 per month can generally access mortgage financing, provided their debt-to-income ratios are within acceptable range. There's still a gap for persons whose income is below $2,000 per month, including those with irregular income or itinerant work patterns. We recognize that recent changes in capital standards and international financial reporting standards have added a layer of conservatism to the lending process. Work is ongoing with the banks, cooperative credit unions, insurance companies, and other lending institutions to find a path, sir, towards a more accommodative underwriting process that would allow earners below a specified income threshold to qualify for home ownership. We will be working with these qualified lenders to introduce appropriate mechanisms to protect the institutions from the perceived increased risk. These will include expanding the Mortgage Indemnity Insurance Act to include all qualified lenders. At least one bank is currently enjoying the benefits of these protections, and it is our plan to encourage the other banks to do likewise. This program will mitigate the impact on the lenders associated with lending to this lower earning category of home buyers. Mr. Speaker, I take this opportunity to remind all financial institutions already offering residential mortgages that the Mortgage Insurance Act provides for their participation to lend up to 100% with the appropriate insurance coverage. This provision, sir, is currently optional, as each individual institution has to apply for the minister's approval. Mr. Speaker, based on all currently available data, I am satisfied with the current Financial System Stability Assessment Report, jointly monitored by the Central Bank of Barbados and the Financial Services Commission. I therefore propose, sir, to amend the legislation to pre-approve all existing lenders supervised by the Central Bank of Barbados or the Financial Services Commission to participate, sir, under the Mortgage Insurance Act. In this regard, sir, the chairman of the Growth Council and the director of Finance and Economic Affairs will meet with the relevant lending institutions within the next week to further discuss how this will be implemented. Sir, the current tax rate on profits from loans issued under this Act is 12.5%. In keeping with tax reforms, I propose with effect from April 1st, 2025, to reduce to 9% of every dollar of income earned for loans over $250,000 issued by an approved lender under the Mortgage Insurance Act. I also propose that the income tax rate of 5% be levied on profits earned from the loans not exceeding $250,000 effective April 1st under the Mortgage Insurance Act. 4.5. Sorry, income tax rate of 4.5. 4.5. The current maximum loan limit, sir, is $600,000 per mortgage, and the aggregate amount of loans in respect of which insurance policies have been issued under the Mortgage Insurance Act shall not exceed, sir, $500 million. Given the government's objective of unlocking private sector investment and the building of a minimum of 2,000 houses per year, I propose that with effect from April 1st, 2025, to increase the aggregate loans by $1.5 billion for loans issued under the Mortgage Insurance Act, with $1 billion reserved specifically, sir, for loans not exceeding $250,000. Mr. Speaker, I also propose that with effect from April 1st, 2025, the rate of interest payable to a borrower in respect of a loan issued under the mortgage in respect of a loan to be insured under the Mortgage Insurance Act up to a maximum of $250,000, sir, shall be 4%, and in excess of $250,000, the rate shall not exceed the maximum rate of interest at any time, as may from time to time be determined by market influence. Mr. Speaker, as part of our commitment to ensure that intergenerational wealth can be passed successfully, I want to address a matter that has bedeviled many families in this country. Our parents and grandparents, sir, toil in the fields with blood, sweat, and tears, work hard, sir, and manage against all odds to set aside a few shillings, sir, to purchase land, provide homes for their children in this country. It is the finest example, sir, of resilience, and I applaud them for that. Regrettably, whilst doing all of that, many of them could not decide, sir, which child to bequeath the properties to. And as a result, sir, there are a number of family plots across the country that aren't being fully utilized for one reason or another, sir. Whilst the government cannot solve problems within families, we believe that we must provide the best possible framework to pay homage, sir, to the efforts of our forefathers. I therefore propose, sir, that with effect from April 1st, 2025, to exempt from property transfer tax on family plots not exceeding 1 acre, sir, transferred via a deed of gift to their children over the next 3 years. To further assist with speedier transfer, sir, I propose that the Town Planning Department facilitate a process with the minimum standard for road construction on the family land, with the condition that the proposed road be made proper within a 5-year period, sir. I hope, sir, that families can come together and recognize that we cannot allow the sacrifices of our parents, sir, to go begging. I turn now to some revenue efficiency matters, sir. Currently, Barbados is the only tourism destination that still requires a visitor permit, which creates a cost to both the government and the car rental companies, sir, along with the printing of booklets, still, which requires resources to be allocated to produce work permits to car rental companies on request. To make it easier for our visitors and these businesses, sir, reciprocal arrangements for international driver license will be put in place to remove the need for visitors to apply for permits. Car rental companies will provide the necessary information to the Barbados Revenue Authority to enable adequate monitoring of data. Mr. Speaker, I now propose that with effect from July 1st, 2025, to abolish the requirement for visitor permits in Barbados, sir. The cost of this to the government will be approximately $350,000 per year, but the saving in time to the visitor will be immeasurable. To replace this revenue, sir, I propose to introduce a daily car rental levy, of $10 per day on all rentals to be included in the daily car rental fee charged by car rental companies effective July 1st, 2025, sir. Companies and owners, sir, effective July 1st, 2025. Additionally, Mr. Speaker, GovTech will be tasked to work with the Barbados Revenue Authority, Treasury Department, Transport Authority, Barbados Licensing Authority, the Barbados Police Service, and the General Insurance Association of Barbados to implement a digital system utilizing QR code technology and the latest payment technologies in order to modernize this vexing process. I would like to state, sir, that we will have an amnesty for all persons who are currently renting cars without the appropriate license plates. You will have until June 30th, 2025 to come into the Transport Authority, sir, apply for the H plate, which will be accommodated. Failure to do so will mean that the person is liable, sir, to significantly higher fines. Persons should know, sir, that the tax rate for small businesses is only 5.5%, and therefore they should not avoid regularizing their affairs for fear of paying high taxes. Visitors, sir, will still need to present a valid driver's license to the registered car rental company. Based on current fleet numbers, sir, this measure is expected to yield a minimum, sir, of $4 million per year. I propose, sir, Mr. Speaker, that with effect from July 1st, 2025, that up to 50% of the car rental levy be allocated, sir, to the Barbados Oceans and Coastal Authority, sir, for its operations. I will now address, sir, some administrative humbugs with the Barbados Revenue Authority and the National Insurance and Social Service, the National Insurance and Social Security. Yeah, I can do this. Okay. Since 2001, sir, I have personally approved 2,458. Yeah, since 2021. I have personally approved 2,458 applications for waivers of penalties and interest of various types on the online concession portal, totaling approximately, sir, $78 million. The total revenue associated with these waivers, sir, is approximately $125 million. With the process of these requests has occurred, whilst the process of these requests have occurred much faster than the old paper-based system, sir, it still presents some challenges as there are still another 1,358 requests at various stages remaining on the portal, sir. Under the current approach, though digitized, our regime of penalties and interest may have the following unintended consequences. Unrealistic and affordable costs to individuals and businesses may result in the business exiting the market or individual taking too long to become compliant, sir. Frequent requests for relief through the administrative agencies to the Ministry of Finance for relief, thus creating a bottleneck due to the time it takes, sir, for the minister to review to make a decision on the request, sir. Unreliable financial statements of the government because of the frequent rebating of penalties and interest and uncertainty of the collectability of the penalties and interest. To alleviate these issues, sir, and to reduce the administrative burden on the Barbados Revenue Authority, as well as the National Insurance and Social Security Services, sir, I will issue a directive in relation to this matter and to give further guidance, sir, to the country. Mr. Speaker, I know you have been listening very carefully. As it relates to regional air travel, sir, as we continue to build airlift capacity across the region in the post-COVID-19 environment, we've seen a rebound in traffic. However, not to the levels that we were accustomed in pre-pandemic. I therefore propose, sir, to reduce the air traffic and tourism development fee for regional passengers from US $35 to US $20 from July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2026, as part of a strategy to enhance Barbados' appeal as a travel destination for our Caribbean neighbors, particularly with the upcoming Cropover Festival, Carry Festa, and the ongoing regathering celebrations. This measure will cost the Treasury, Mr. Speaker, approximately $2.8 million. Mr. Speaker, I know that you have been listening very carefully thus far, and are no doubt pleased with the initiatives that benefit the small business sector in a tremendous way, if they choose to participate. When we speak about sustainable, resilient, inclusive growth, we mean that, sir. The government, through these initiatives, has shown the commitment to the growth of the small business sector with the availability of a reduced tax rate of 5.5%, recognizing that small businesses are on a strong growth trajectory. In spite of the Small Business Development Act Cap 318C not being amended or repealed altogether, most businesses in Barbados, were paying corporate taxes, most businesses in Barbados were paying corporate taxes at a rate of 5.5% since January 2019. With the change in regime, there appears to be some confusion around who will make monthly prepayments. The Prime Minister, in her statement to this Honourable House in November 2023, was quite clear that small businesses, as defined below, will pay 5.5% corporate tax and would not be required to make monthly prepayments, sir, for corporation tax. For the avoidance of doubt, sir, a small business is defined as a company if it has gross income of $2 million or less, has paid capital of $1 million or less, and 3, sir, has no more than 25 employees. Companies will need to ensure that at least 75% of the shares of the company are beneficially owned by a resident of Barbados, and members of group companies will need to meet all of the noted criteria. Let me repeat, sir. A company that qualifies for the 5.5% tax rate, corporate tax rate, is not required to make monthly prepayments. These companies shall continue to make their prepayments twice in each income year, as was the case in the previous regime. For the avoidance of doubt, sir, the following companies do not apply for the 5.5% tax rate. Holders of foreign currency permits, sir, do not qualify. A company, firm, or society that earns 100% of the income in foreign currency and that has been granted a foreign currency permit. B, tax concessions. A company which has been granted a tax concession or exemption under any other enactment including a company operating under the Tourism Development Act, Cap 341. This excludes a company which is an approved small business under the Small Business Development Act, Cap 318. C, holding companies. A company whose primary purpose is holding shares in other companies or holding real estate. Mr. Speaker, the Income Tax Act, Cap 73, will be amended to reflect the criteria. Mr. Speaker, as you know, we have been encouraging Bajan restaurants and cook shops to upgrade their kitchen equipment across the island. We are in the business of hospitality, and it is therefore important that all offering food to persons visiting and visitors alike can do so in a most efficient way. Let us remember that we are trying to transition the Food and Rum Festival to a national platform rather than just simply be an exercise that includes a few top local chefs and a few visiting chefs. Accordingly, Mr. Speaker, I propose with effect from April 1st, 2025, to remove all duties and VAT on commercial kitchen equipment, beginning with tariff headings 7321, 8418 for restaurants and cook shops until March 31st, 2007. 27. March 31st, 2027. With effect from April 1st, 2025, sir, I propose to allow restaurants not on a hotel compound earning more than 60% of their revenue in foreign exchange to access food and beverage concessions for wines and proteins currently given to hotels. This can be facilitated by allowing the operator, sir, to register as a tourism product under the Tourism Development Act, sir. Digital stamp duty, sir. Mr. Speaker, this next matter was raised with me by the General Insurance Association of Barbados, but it makes a significant impact across corporate Barbados and a number of government agencies. The association expressed a desire, sir, to move away from having to use physical stamps in order to issue receipts for insurance policies. The Ministry of Finance through the Treasury Department, sir, will therefore embark on a modernization exercise to bring the stamp duty administration process into the 21st century by digitizing the stamp duty process. The Treasury will work with stakeholders, including the Post Office, Land Registry, the Supreme Court Registry, the Barbados Revenue Authority, Business Barbados, and the private sector, sir, in order to have a solution in place, sir, by January 1st, 2026. No more worries, sir, about running out of stamps, and the ability to purchase any quantum digitally will transform, sir, the business environment in Barbados. I turn, sir, to improving the well-being of Bajans. Over the past 3 years, sir, the government of Barbados has introduced several measures in an attempt to curtail the cost of living for citizens in response to significant rises in costs globally. Here is a summary of the key initiatives from 2022, sir, up until now. We've extended, sir, the school feeding program. Recognizing the financial strain on families during school breaks, the government extended school feeding programs into the summer holidays, ensuring children continue to receive nutritious lunches without additional costs, sir, to parents. Mr. Speaker, this program will continue this summer. We've capped shipping rates. Sir. The Ministry of Finance capped the freight costs at 2019 levels for the purpose of calculating customs duties for the period from March 2022 until March 2024. Whilst freight rates have subsided, this measure can be activated if freight rates again exceed 2019 levels, and therefore, sir, this will remain in place, sir, until March 31st, 2027. We've zero-rated, sir, essential items. The Prime Minister proposed that effective the 1st of April 2022, all sanitary towels and tampons, baby and adult diapers, sir, antiperspirant, vitamins and multi-minerals will be zero-rated, sir, and that remains in place as well, sir. We capped the VAT on fuel, sir. The value-added tax on gasoline and diesel, sir, was capped at 47 cents and 37 cents per litre, respectively, for 6 months starting March 16, sir, 2022 until present, which it was subsequently extended. Mr. Speaker, the cap on the amount of VAT collected on fuel remains in place. It remains in place, sir. But because international oil prices have lowered, we have not had to trigger it. But I want to assure the country, sir, that if in the event that the oil price goes up above $80 a barrel, the cap will again be applied, sir, therefore bringing relief, sir, to Barbadians. VAT reduction on electricity, sir. To ease electricity costs, the government reduced the value-added tax from 17.5%, sir, to 7.5% on the first 250 kilometer hours consumed by households. This measure commenced August 1st, 2022, and is currently in place, sir, until March 31st, 2025. By which time, sir, total relief to residential consumers will be approximately $32 million or $1 million per month. Mr. Speaker, this too will be extended, sir, until March 31st, 2026, sir. The Price Compact Initiative, sir. In July 2022, the government collaborated with the private sector and the labor unions to implement, sir, a prices compact, reducing prices from a low of 10% to as high as 25% on 45 essential items, including meat, dairy products, rice, fruits, and toiletries. This initiative, sir, has helped to provide immediate relief, sir, to consumers facing higher prices. And more than half of these prices, sir, are still below the July 2022 prices today. Mr. Speaker, in addition to the list of 45 items previously agreed on the compact, I propose to add the following items for which value-added tax will be removed effective April 1st, 2025. Stew beef, minced meat, minced pork, minced turkey, pineapples, barley, Vienna sausages, Horlicks, sir, Sega, sir, and lentil peas. In addition to the above items, sir, we will remove the import duties and VAT, sir, on pears, not avocados, sir, pears, Ortoniques, mandarins, grapefruits, and plums, sir. Beijing should note, sir, that the National Conservation Commission and the agricultural station at Haggett's have been instructed, sir, to accelerate the propagation of guava, passion fruit, pomegranate, and Beijing cherry trees to encourage planting across the country once more. We will also work to bring in the necessary expertise to get on top, finally, sir, of the problems affecting the citrus fruit industry in Barbados. As you are aware, sir, the Ministry of Labor introduced legislation in 2022 establishing a national minimum wage, which was part of the government's response to give more financial protection to workers earning the lowest incomes in our society. Gas station workers, sir, watchmen, salespersons, otherwise known as shop assistants. Some of these persons were earning $6.25 per hour. Others, sir, just $6.50 per hour. The government said, no way, Jose, sir. We had to up the thing, Mr. Speaker, and up the thing, sir, we did. The Minimum Wage Board, sir, is currently conducting the first review as the current legislation requires. And therefore, I'm assured by the Honourable Member for St. Peter that the new rate will be announced shortly. The workers, Mr. Speaker, who have worked hard across the length and breadth of this country to keep this country ticking deserve a better deal, sir, and greater levels of predictability in relation to their earnings. In order to give further protection to these workers, sir, I now propose that effective January 1st, 2026, to introduce an automatic increase in the national minimum wage, sir, of 2% annually, sir, in line with the movement Sir, this is in line with the movement in the maximum insurable earnings. Sir? No, this is in line, sir, with the movement in the maximum insurable earnings, sir, which allows those persons earning a lot more at the top, sir, to contribute more to NIS. And therefore, we want to make sure, sir, that the persons at the bottom, sir, are not left behind in this process, sir. And therefore, we commit to doing that. This way, sir, it gives those persons a little more disposable income at the bottom, sir, in order to help keep pace, sir, with inflation. Mr. Speaker, 25 years ago when I got my first job, sir, at the Central Bank, the income tax allowance for subscriptions for union membership, sir, was $240. I remember it very well, sir, when I filed my first income tax in April of 2021. Now, I don't have to tell you, sir, about the important role unions have played in the development of a modern Barbados. As a political party with a strong and rich history in union activism, the Barbados Labour Party believes that workers in the 21st century should not have to contemplate trading off union dues, and the right to representation for the sake of other necessities. To remedy this, sir, I propose that from the income year 2024, the tax allowance for union membership dues be increased from $240 to $360. This measure will take effect, sir, during next month's income tax filing period. And this measure, sir, is expected to cost the Treasury, sir, approximately $600,000. Mr. Speaker, earlier in my speech, I spoke to the importance of tourism workers, sir, if the growth trajectory is to be sustained. The ability to attract and maintain highly skilled and highly trained workers within the sector cannot be understated, sir, if we are to maintain the standard of living to which we become accustomed. The Barbados Workers Union has made representation as to why this next measure is critical at this time, as the industry is undergoing significant regeneration that will stand Barbados in good stead, sir, going forward. Therefore, with effect from April 1st, 2025, I propose that meal allowances paid to hotel and restaurant workers be free of income tax under the following conditions. 1, up to a maximum of $150 per week for work performed during regular working hours. 2, where meal allowances are received on a regular basis as part of the fulfillment of the employment contract and provided at the same rate to all employees. And 3, sir, where employees are required to consume meals at the worksite only. Mr. Speaker, this is important to ensure we attract the best people to the industry. Mr. Speaker, to support the broader reform efforts completed last year and recognizing that living on fixed incomes in today's environment, sir, presents some challenges as it relates to pensioners. In an effort, sir, to increase the investment income on registered retirement saving plans, as well as the income for pension funds generally, I propose to exempt from withholding tax, sir, sums invested in government securities, and to increase the income tax threshold for pensioners, sir, from income year 2025 to $50,000, sir. This will cost the Treasury, sir, approximately $3 million. Mr. Speaker, my government is aware that the strengthening of family is important if our social fabric is to be maintained, and if some of the social challenges we face are to be addressed. We were deliberate, sir, in the decision to replace the statue of Lord Nelson in our National Hero Square with the monument to the family. We've also spoken about increasing our support to Parados and the introduction of parental and life coaches to assist parents and young children with coping with the social and psychological challenges of rapidly and continuously changing family and community dynamics. This particular matter has been long in coming, Mr. Speaker, but with the structural adjustments to debt and our fiscal situation, with COVID-19 behind us, as the economy has now fully recovered, we can now confidently address further support, sir, for Bajan families. With effect from June 1st, 2025, sir, the maternity leave provision for mothers will be increased from the current 12 weeks to 14 weeks for single births and to 17 weeks for multiple births, sir. In addition, sir, we will remove the following stipulations with effect from June 1st, 2025. We will remove the stipulation, sir, of 3 confinements with the same employer, sir, for maternity benefits. We will remove the requirement, sir, that a child should be born in Barbados, and instead to say that a child born to a mother, sir, who is ordinarily resident in Barbados. Mr. Speaker, the Barbados Labour Party recognizes that a father's involvement in the nurture of children is also important and must be encouraged and facilitated. This early support is of immediate and long-term benefit both to the mother, sir, and the child, and ultimately, sir, to the community. Mr. Speaker, I now propose that with effect from June 1st, 2025, the introduction of statutory paternity leave for men of 3 weeks, sir, for the avoidance of doubt, sir, I propose that with effect from June 1st, 2025, the introduction of statutory paternity leave of 3 weeks for men. With this statutory provision, sir, and recognizing our modern society, we will also remove with effect from June 1st, 2025, sir, the condition that both parents have to live together when the child is born, sir, in order to access these benefits, sir. I hope, sir, that the Honourable Prime Minister will allow me those benefits over the years, sir. Mr. Speaker, we have seen a significant improvement in the delivery of healthcare services in Barbados, to the point where maternal mortality ratio is almost 0, sir. However, sir, there are those rare cases where a mother is not always available, sir, to attend to the needs of a newborn child. In these instances, sir, the primary caregiver might be the father, sir, or it might usually be a grandparent, in order to ensure, sir, that the newborn still receives the financial benefit as intended, sir. With effect from June 1st, 2025, sir, we shall convert the maternity grant, sir, to a child grant, recognizing that the primary provider of care for a child may not always be the mother of that child, sir. And Mr. Speaker, this is quite a progressive move, befitting Barbados, sir, in the 21st century. Mr. Speaker, the government has designed these measures with a clear understanding as to how Barbadian society works and our complex family structures, as well as the fundamental role of the family, sir, in the development of communities and the stability and progress of the nation. This is a government, sir, committed to the use of public policy tools at its disposal to facilitate people-centered, fair and inclusive social and economic development. Sharing the bounty. Mr. Speaker, this is our country. The Prime Minister indicated in her first budget speech that as a government, we are asking the people of the nation to share the burden and to share the bounty. This government remains absolutely committed, sir, to this philosophy. To accomplish this objective, we started by giving public servants a little breakfast, sir, to get the journey started in 2008, in the form of a 5% salary increase, which was the first for nearly 10 years, 10 long, hard years, sir. We then had two $1 billion fiscal adjustments. The first was the debt restructuring in 2018, which was part of the plan. The second adjustment was during COVID-19, which was not planned. In spite of that, sir, we came out of the pandemic and settled a new wage agreement with the public service and their unions for 2022-23 and 2023-24. Mr. Speaker, this government continues to maintain fiscal discipline, and notwithstanding the fact that the corporate tax regime performed better than expected in 2024, recent events in the rapidly evolving external environment prevent us from making structural changes, as we do not yet know what will happen internationally in the next few months. We must therefore look at other options to ensure there's a benefit to Bajans from this enhanced corporate tax revenue that we receive this year. As promised, sir, we will now share, as promised, a one-off solidarity allowance. The criteria, sir: every Bajan over 18 years old and every person with legal status who has contributed to the National Insurance Scheme in the last year will qualify for the solidarity allowance. The National Insurance Scheme, sir, will administer the payment of these allowances. Sir, it will be easy for us to identify the following categories of persons: all persons who made contributions to the NIS in the last 12 months, all national insurance contributory pensioners, all non-contributory pensioners, including those accessing the special need grant, all persons receiving invalidity benefit from the National Insurance Scheme, all welfare clients receiving support, not in any category above. All of these persons, sir, will qualify for the solidarity allowance. Mr. Speaker, though, we know that these categories are not exhaustive. There are persons who are not on welfare and others who have not worked in the last 12 months and are not in any of the groups mentioned above. We will therefore be encouraging persons who do not fall immediately in any of the above categories to come forward to the designated points across the country that will be advertised, sir, and present themselves. You must bring your national ID card and some proof of address. A due diligence check will be made and persons will thereafter receive their solidarity allowance. In the event, sir, a person feels aggrieved, there will be an appellate process which will be set up and chaired by the Director of Finance and Economic Affairs, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Labour and Social Security, and the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of People Empowerment and Elder Affairs. It should be noted that all such applications for the solidarity allowance must be made, sir, before June 30th, 2025 in order to be eligible. Finally, sir, the persons entitled to receive the allowance must have been ordinarily resident in Barbados during the last 12 months. That is, sir, since April 1st, 2024. I therefore propose, sir, to pay to all of the persons listed above the one-off solidarity allowance in the amount of $300, which will be free, sir, from income tax. In short, sir, every Bajan over 18 years old and every person with legal status contributing to the National Insurance Scheme will be entitled to benefit from the solidarity allowance once they meet the requirements stated above. This, Mr. Speaker, is a government keeping faith with the people and honoring its commitment and word to share the burden and share the bounty. You can take that to the bank, sir. In addition, sir, we are committed to paying our debt and keeping on the trajectory that we set out upon assumption of office, where our debt was completely unsustainable. There are 3 weeks left for the remainder of the financial year. There will be some additional supplementaries on critical expenditure to fuel inclusive growth. In the event that there's an even better performance than we expect, Mr. Speaker, we will pay down debt again before the end of the financial year. This will again be in keeping with our responsible management of the fiscal affairs of the country. Contrary to all the long talk, sir, that is misleading people, this government, sir, is not increasing debt. It has been consistently lowering the debt, and barring anything unforeseen this year, we look forward, sir, to reducing our debt to GDP ratio from 3 figures, sir, to double digits. Supporting home beautification, sir, and community enhancement. Mr. Speaker, a well-managed home is not just a private asset, it is a public good. It enhances neighborhoods, fosters community pride, and contributes to a safer and more attractive living environment for all. Yet, for many low-income households, the cost of home improvements, particularly painting and exterior maintenance, remains a challenge. To address this, the government will establish a $5 million home improvement fund in this fiscal year, 2024-25, sourced from the projected fiscal surplus. This initiative, sir, will provide microloans and grants to assist low-income homeowners, those earning less than $30,000 per year, in enhancing the appearance of their homes. Mr. Speaker, this fund will serve as a direct and targeted intervention to support our most vulnerable citizens in uplifting their living conditions. It will offer grants to assist with the cost of paint and minor external repairs, provide microloans with low or zero interest for additional home beautification efforts, encourage neighborhood-wide applications, allowing groups of homeowners in the same community to benefit collectively and maximize visual impact. Additionally, we will recognize and celebrate homeowners who participate through and a 60th anniversary Community Beautification Awards program. Parish prizes and overall national prizes of significance will be awarded for the best kept homes on the outside, clearly, and for the best kept gardens, sir. I should state that the competitions are open to all households and not just those, sir, benefiting from the fund. Mr. Speaker, this initiative represents not just an investment in individual homes, but in the fabric, sir, of our society. It will improve property values, inspire civic pride, and contribute to a Barbados, sir, that is more beautiful and well kept for all. And as we start to celebrate, sir, our 60th anniversary of independence this year, we want every Bajan, sir, to participate. This is yet another demonstration, sir, of our commitment, sir, to inclusive economic growth, where fiscal responsibility enables us to make tangible improvements, sir, in the lives of our citizens. In conclusion, sir, Mr. Speaker, these budgetary proposals and financial statement 2025 are a roadmap for sustained efforts to protect and empower our people, to build a stronger social fabric, to care for the vulnerable, to lift people out of poverty, and to strengthen our middle class, while constructing a strong, sustainable, resilient economy in which our labor force is innovative and productive. This roadmap continues government's objective of national and economic resilience, predicated on digitization to deliver sustainable, resilient, inclusive growth. It also empowers ordinary Barbadians and those who choose to live here, thereby improving, again, the social fabric and general cohesion of the society. I therefore call on all Barbadians to contribute to the national economic transformation, aided by strategic investments, prudent financial management, and the unwavering commitment to our people. This government will continue to secure a brighter, more prosperous future for all. Mr. Speaker, Barbados must keep our heads, whilst all about us, sir, are losing theirs. The rapidly evolving external environment over the last 49 days, sir, is a clear sign that the remaining 1,412 days, sir, will not be straightforward. The fuse has been intentionally lit with the express aim of disrupting lives no matter the consequence. We must therefore endeavor to continue to fight all our battles, sir, domestic and external as one. We can do so by remaining focused, sir, on mission transformation, the 6 missions to which we are committed nationally to achieve by 2030. And as I close, Mr. Speaker, May 14th, 2025 will represent 400 years of the modern landing and settlement of Barbados. We will commemorate it, sir, as we must. And so I propose, sir, one small yet significant amendment, sir, to the lyrics of our beloved national anthem. The Lord has been the people's guide, sir, for past 400 years. With him still on the people's side, we have no doubts or fears. Upward and onward we shall go, inspired, exulting, free. And greater will our nation grow in strength and unity. I thank you, sir, and all Barbadians. May God continue to bless Barbados. And Mr. Speaker, with those few words, I'm obliged to you. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that this Appropriation Bill 2025 be read a second time.
I beg to second that with pleasure and reserve the right to speak in this debate. Thank you.
We commit a lot of announcements by Your Honor. Yeah.
You don't know. Last night I learned of the death of Mr. Ricky Marshall, the brother of the Honourable Member for St. Joseph, Mr. Dale Marshall, the Attorney General. I want on behalf of my wife, my family, and I, all the members of this Honourable Chamber and the other chamber, the clerks of Parliament and the deputy clerks, and the entire staff of Parliament, and the constituents of St. Michael's Central, to convey my deepest condolences to my trusted friend, the Honourable Dale Marshall, and for us to hold him in our prayers. Could we stand for 1 minute silence, please? Seated. Honourable Leader Government Business.
Divert the government business.
Honourable Leader Government Business.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to move the suspension of the sitting until tomorrow, the 11th of March at 10 a.m. Sorry, 3 p.m. 3 p.m. in the afternoon.
The question is that this Honourable Chamber be suspended until Tuesday, the 11th day of March 2025 at 3 p.m. All of our members in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say no. Me think the ayes have it. This Honourable Chamber stands suspended until Tuesday, 11th day of March 2025 at 3 p.m.